Hello and welcome to the Streamcast, to number 41 of the Digital Homicides Streamcast. With me, as always, is Lothar, and we're gonna talk about Unreal 5 engine games, upcoming stuff, what the engine can do, and yeah, things like that. And I realized that I started talking sooner than I normally do. All right, so let me switch over and wait, let me unmute Lothar here. Hi, Lothar. Hi. All right. So here we are uh, in the 21st century playing or showing stuff that is pretty much photorealistic.
Let me refresh the stream page because I don't see the video yet. I'll see the timer.
Okay.
And I see the video.
Um, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was around 10, maybe 15 years ago where I thought it will take around 10 years to have photorealistic graphics. I was maybe a bit off, but we're definitely at this point.
Yeah, we at this point, but people already for I don't know, like 2 or 3 years taking screenshots from Red Dead Redemption or Far Cry 5 as real life photos.
Well, yeah, in different scenarios, and if you sometimes use mods like Reshade or something, you can make stuff really, really look good. Also, well, screenshots you can manipulate afterwards with Photoshop and stuff like that too. But even in a game like Forza 5, for example, if you race around, it looks freaking realistic. I mean,
Yeah.
not photorealistic, but if you compare that to race games from 3, 4 years ago, it's huge, and that's not Unreal Engine. So
People
games,
taking footage from Arma 3 as real life footage. And I know it for sure.
well, it's if you remember the times back in the day when
No, I mean right now they taking
yeah, yeah, yeah,
videos.
yeah, but back in the day, when they promoted games with nearly photorealistic graphics and ooh,
Oh yeah,
yeah, it
those
was,
nearly photorealistic triangle shapes.
yeah, exactly. So we had games that looked really, really good, but now we have games that look in real time what animated movies or CGI looked after it was rendered on workstations and render farms. And that's
Yeah,
real time now. A lot of people don't even realize what that means. I mean, it's insane how much power the PCs from now have. I mean, um, for really photorealistic graphics that are also in a playable frame in playable frames, you will need at least a Generation 4 Nvidia card or higher. So that
I
will
would say that definitely higher.
yeah, that will still need some more power, and an 8 core will definitely not be enough as a CPU to run all the simulations needed for all the realistic lighting and stuff. So I think maybe with Gen 5 from Nvidia and the next Ryzen series, although the actual Ryzen are insanely powerful, um, but that might not just be enough yet. Um,
We might actually see the same solution as used in server rigs when you have a motherboard for two CPUs.
Yeah, well, since you have that internally in the CPU itself, it's not that needed anymore. It's also really expensive to have a multi-core board. Um,
Yeah, it is. But if it will be cheaper than produce 16 or more core CPUs,
oh,
it
we're
might get to that.
we're beyond the 64 core CPU already. So
Okay, some server rigs does that.
yeah, and workstations. It's basically what you have in or with cars. Cars always get a technology that is basically used and tested first in Formula One races or in other race cars, because that's where the extremes happen and that's where you need to optimize everything. And that's the same with computers, basically. What we have today as regular computers used to be the CGI workstations that they used back in the day, or the SGI, Indigo, for example. Silicon Graphics workstations were freaking epic. And we have a lot of those tech in our regular game PCs or regular office PCs even. I mean, we have Ryzen's up to 16 cores at the moment, and the newer ones have so-called 3D cache, which is over 64 megabytes of level 3 cache, and that's huge. So it's insane. In a few years, I guess 16 core will be the standard and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now we are basically at 16 gigabytes, which is enough for most games, but more is always better. And with textures and stuff, my PC, for example, is the minimum that you need to create Unreal Engine 5 anything. It's the minimum for the engine to use the engine in a, in quotes, playable or usable state. How not usable it is, I will show later when I try to move into the editor. And it's a really, really small scene and small project.
Let's hope that stream will not crash from that.
No, that's not a problem.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
it's a different PC. Yeah.
yeah. So besides that being two PCs, people will just lose you if my game PC crashes, but the stream will stay online, and I'm never gonna change that. The two PC setup might use more power, but it's just more reliable. But yeah, I have 32 gigabytes of RAM in my PC, a 2070 card, a 2060 is the minimum, I think, and I think Ryzen. I think it was 8 or 12 minimum. I think 8 is the minimum, but recommended is 12 or higher, 64 gigabytes or more, and a 3080 or higher is recommended. To use the engine, not play an Unreal Engine game, just to use the engine. Okay, so we're gonna start with a video. I'm not sure if that's actually that should be in Unreal Engine 5, but it does show 2016, so I'm not fully sure. But we're gonna start with that. It's maybe not
It might be a prototype of EU5.
Yeah, you can use the project in Unreal Engine 4 and 5. So I'm not sure, since it says compilation might show different states. So I didn't watch it. I just saw that the project is relatively small, so I can start it. Because for every project, you need basically twice the space on your disk to make the project. First, you need to download the project, which in some cases, I wanted to show that Matrix 5 demo from the Xbox, and the project file itself is 100 gigabytes. So you need to download the 100 gigabytes, and then you basically work on a copy of it. So you need 200 gigabytes for that project, and I don't have that space. So that is a problem. For huge projects, you need a lot of space. I don't know exactly what the new Star Wars game, the new Jedi game, is based on, but install size is 133 gigabytes.
And looks like it's already in mixed.
Oh, okay. But it looks good.
It looks good, but I'm not touching it. No way. I played the first one. I heard what I want. What it's offering. I saw what it's offering. Gameplay is good. Story, I'm against.
Mm.
I'm against it. So yeah, I'm not going to continue with this series.
I just saw a trailer with Mark Hamill and the actor from the game. And Mark Hamill was showing him some stuff, and it's hilarious. In Jedi, you can play with two one-handed lightsabers, basically. And Mark Hamill was like, "What? They never gave me two lightsabers!" Hilarious. Mark Hamill is just the best. He is just the best. Yeah, I didn't finish the first game. I still have that on my list, like so many games that I have on my list. But I just added Dying Light 2 finally to my list of games to play. And
Oh, you finally got it.
yeah, I finally gave in. I was like, okay, come on, screw it. And they just released a really awesome update a few days ago. And a friend of mine who is really, really picky when it comes to games like that, he finished it. It has over 70 hours in it. So
Okay.
that's enough for me. I know it's not exactly on the same level like Dying Light 1, but I kind of wanted to play something like that. And I'm not going to get Dead Island 2. They can keep that shit game. They went Epic exclusive after 9 years of developing this game, and us waiting for years with delays. They go Epic exclusive. They can go fuck themselves.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that Epic partially funded that project. Of course, they're going to be like, "That's ours now."
I'm not sure what engine that actually uses. It's not Unreal Engine, I think, but I'm not sure. Anyway, let's watch that short movie here so we see what Unreal Engine is capable. A lot of short movies are done in the Unreal Engine. A lot of news broadcasts, concerts, and everything can all be done in Unreal Engine 5. Yes.
Unreal Engine 4.
What, this video?
No, Dead Island 2.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for Unreal Engine 4, it looks awesome. The game looks good, and it seems to be fun, and I read that it is pretty much bug-free, which you should expect after 9 years. Okay, well, Cyberpunk.
We have Duke Nukem.
Yeah, we had Duke Nukem. Well, that was... I didn't had any big bugs when I played it. I cannot say that I had a lot of bugs in Duke Nukem Forever. It took a long time until it was released. But we have Cyberpunk. Yeah, that's the game that I just remembered, because yeah, when I said, "Hey, 9 years, it should be bug free." Oh, Cyberpunk. Okay, never mind. Okay,
Yeah.
but no, it seems to be pretty bug free, and it's
Saints Row 2022 as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some developers actually know what they're doing, and you should expect that. Who actually developed it?
It appears that less and less developers know what they're doing.
I mean, I do know that Techland, the developer of Dying Light, stepped down from Dead Island 2 because of internal reasons, and then they said, "Hey, you know what? Fuck it, we go with Dying Light 2." So if it would have been still Techland, I might have considered to get it at some point, because Dying Light 1 is one fucking good game, and it gets still content and events after 5 or 6 years. It's insane. So Techland is a great developer, so I don't worry too much about Dying Light. Anyway, let's start that movie.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, finally. Okay, so here we go. Play. Wait, wait a second. That's not what I want. Wait a second. That's the no. That's the wrong fucking stuff. Why did I go? Okay, never mind. I don't know what.
You clicked on it somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Oops.
I thought, wait a second, that looks, that is
That looks
real.
suspiciously VHS.
Yes. Oops. Okay, so this here is the Unreal Engine. Because I was wondering about the 2016 part. I was like, wait a second, what the hell? I might have clicked on next, or I don't know. Okay, here we go now.
And I
Yeah.
have a random screenshot from so-called live-action Lion King.
Yeah, would have fit, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So this exact project you can download in the marketplace, and then yeah, play around with it on your own if your PC can handle it. So I'm moving slowly because if I move too fast, it might just, well. But yeah,
I can see Russian language.
this is basically the project that you just saw, and this is what it looks in the engine. But like I said, my PC is at the minimum, so but you can basically get a project, and well, a project like this, and like the, let me see. What I wanted to show actually was this here, the city sample is what I wanted to show, because this is basically the city that you can check out in Xbox. If you have an Xbox, look for metrics, and then you can basically see what the engine is capable of, including Neo and Trinity looking pretty realistic. You're sitting right next to them, basically in a car and stuff. But this project
20
uses.
years have passed since we had that Matrix show off with Nvidia.
What do you mean?
Do you remember that
A
scene
game?
with metal detector?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Nvidia had a demo of it, made in some sort of 3D engine.
I'm not sure. It might have been related to the game that they released back then, because that was Nvidia, the way it's meant to be played. So that was, as far as I know, supported by Nvidia. That might have been promotion for the game back then, Enter the Matrix,
Yeah, maybe.
because you had that sequence in the game, and that's a game I actually should
Oh,
replay.
no, no, no. I am wrong. It was a 3D Mark demo.
Ah, Yeah, that
That one.
yeah, back in the day, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, that was freaking epic. Let me copy that actually, since we're talking about that anyway. Yeah, back in the day, you needed something like 3D Mark to see where graphics can go.
Minute 2, I think. And that was the DirectX 1 8.1. Oh, long ago.
Yes. 4 editions earlier.
Yeah, and that used to be photorealistic.
Yeah, well, it wasn't called photorealistic.
Okay, it was called realistic, and it's still looking good for 2001.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
And yeah, minute 2.
But that's cut together like a demo.
I think it is, because I do remember I saw that Matrix stuff.
No. I mean a demo like from the demo scene.
Oh,
it's not just
that.
Yeah, they made a music video basically out of the 3D Mark test and combined.
Yeah, now I get it.
Yeah, so because those turning things, that's code. That's just coded. That's if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to scene.org, enjoy, and say goodbye to your life for the next few hours if you're into stuff like that. So, but yeah, this was a butterfly 3D Mark. I know all that shit because I used all those things back then because I always had a powerful PC
as well.
I mean, I had to. I had a good PC, so I wanted to see what it's capable of, and only those benchmarks were capable of showing that off.
Yeah.
Games were not at that level yet. I mean, 3D Mark still looks insanely good, but yeah, this is the metrics.
To what we have right now.
Ah, it was Max Payne actually. Not Matrix, it was Max Payne.
It was made like Matrix show, so.
Yeah, true, but it's basically it was at the time when Max Payne was out.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is super realistic. I mean, you can see the bullets reflect and everything. So
yeah, a lot of projectiles, damage in real time, shell cases, impacts, flashes, reflections. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, but it's not ray traced or anything.
Yeah.
But for the time, the reflections are fucking insane. Also the shadows.
Oh yeah, and that stuff like
the shockwave.
Bullet time in Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. I just said now would be a great time to remaster the original Max Payne, the first two, with Unreal 5 engine. That would be freaking epic.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Let's hope that they wouldn't break a lot of stuff, like some remasters.
Let me see. Oh, that doesn't even need that much. So the project file for the Mercat demo this year, the download is around 8 gigabytes, and at the moment, okay, now I'm actively in the engine, so it just used 1.5. The moment I went into the editor, it added another 1.2 gigabyte to the RAM. So it uses around 3 gigabytes now. But yeah, if you want to make the same movie, or if you want to change something, you can basically do exactly the video that we showed earlier and make the eagle purple, for example, and you can render it, or well, play it. I think I can just play it from here. Yeah, you can just play it in the editor. Shift F1. I don't know the freaking engine that well, so. But yeah, this is real time now. So this is not pre-rendered. This is just running on my PC in the editor.
We don't see it.
You don't see it? Oh, wait. Why do you see? Oh, wait a second. Ah, where? Stop it. Fuck. Why don't I show this actually? Display capture. Where's my display capture? Yeah. Oh, wait. It's
Feels a bit refreshing, not feeling there with shit talk so like we had like
ah, there we go.
for 5 or 4 months.
There we go. That's. I don't know why it didn't show up. It was active. I had to double click it basically. So yeah, this here is running on my PC. So this is not pre-rendered or anything. This is basically the movie that we saw, but in the editor. And like I said, I'm not that used to the engine, but yeah, you can basically change anything in that project and render it. If you want to make that egg, let's say marble or glass, yeah, you could, and then just hit play and it would show that. But like I said, I'm not really used to Unreal Engine. I want to make something this year. I have a shit ton of assets to do something, and I plan to. But yeah, besides that, I don't know too much about it yet.
They made a pretty big play. They make a pretty big plot of the land.
Oh yeah, yeah. What you can see basically. So if you cannot see this area, well, you don't have to put it in. So this is basically everything that they put in there.
It's still a lot.
Oh yeah, it's a lot for that little. But depending on the camera, you can see that far. So, but it's basically 2 base level sizes, I guess.
Yeah.
And
we can basically see how those 2 base plates merging into each other.
This is how it looks down here. So this is a whole block that you can get out of the market, basically. But they just show the tip of it. That doesn't have texture capabilities from the inside. In engines and 3D modeling apps, you give textures a direction. So this is the backside, and backside doesn't need to be rendered. So this is how it looks from the outside. This is so funny when you see where the camera is located. The starting camera. So this is kinda where it starts, a bit zoomed in then on that egg over there somewhere. But yeah. This is Unreal and it's free, and as much as I dislike Epic Launcher and everything they do, the engine is freaking awesome. So if you want to try it out yourself, well, you can. And yeah, if you're on ground level, you can only see the tips of those mountains. You think it's all level up to there, but no, it's just some parts. I should be able, yeah, see, how do I move that? Here. So I could just move it and place it somewhere else, and well, then play it again. When I play it again now, it would show that mountain somewhere else. That's Unreal Engine. Okay, the idea for this Streamcast basically came because of this here. A game company released a video, and people were like, that's video, that's filmed, that's fake, that's whatnot. Wait, I have to deactivate this here.
At first, I thought that it's a video as well. Before I saw some sort of twist. Let's say it like that.
At first, if you don't know about game engines, yes. At the beginning, I also was like, huh? And then I saw a few things, and I was like, wow, yes. I did know that it was not a movie, but they have a few things that they use which make you think it is. First is the viewpoint that you have. It's basically a police simulator, and you well, that's a plan because that's early footage. It's basically body cam video, so it's not a first person game, it's a body cam. So you see it, you see the whole game from the chest, from this area basically here. That gives that that found footage vibe to it and look.
Yeah.
And
at first, unique perspective. At second, definitely something like mockumentary.
Yeah, and it's also the speed it plays in, because if you look now just at the still, you can already see that on the left side is a freaking texture. So there are ways to already tell now this must be a game, as good as it looks. But this, well, what's really convincing is stuff like the trees on the side.
Yes, and plus that distortion on the lens, and that it's definitely made like low quality camera because of that skybox.
Yeah,
If you
it is super
if you
bright.
saw something like old phones footage, well, not like that old, something more older than that. And even on cheap cameras, you could see that those cameras had troubles with balancing white.
Yeah, but this is not like Blair Witch quality found footage.
Oh yeah, it's definitely much better. Even now, cheaper camera work much better than we used to 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I bought an SLR digital camera, which was quite expensive back then. Today, if you buy one, you can just do HD videos and everything with the photo camera as well. Mine can't. I can use it for pictures. Yeah, I can take really good pictures, but there's absolutely zero video. My dad got the same camera, but the follow-up version for relatively cheap somehow. And yeah, you can at least do 720p videos with that. Because a lot of bigger streamers, they use SLR cameras, not webcams for their face cam, which is kind of overkill, but yeah, I couldn't.
720p, it used to be HD like 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, it is HD, just a lower version.
YouTube don't have HD mark on it anymore.
All right, well, let's watch that footage. So if you're watching it as well, Lothar, play now. So it looks that good because of photogrammetry, basically.
Yeah, but I know what people were talking about, how photorealistic it is, but when you see the flashlight, you can already say that it's not a reality.
Oh, the flashlight is actually pretty good in the game.
It's pretty good, but it's not realistically good.
This freaking toilet looked awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you can kind of also see with the pixelation. This is a pretty nice thing to do actually in a game. So you don't really see what nation the person is you just shot, basically.
See, that's definitely a video game light.
I mean, you do still see that it's a game,
Yeah,
but
like those small HUD elements when you're checking out bullets in your magazine.
yeah, well, that's stuff that you can just add over real time or over real video as well.
Yeah, I know, but still, if you know that this is a game, it's a HUD.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Things that are not fully active in here is the full ray tracing, lighting, and everything. I know because I did one project. I did one project in Unreal Engine and I maxed the lookout basically. So I took the Valley demo. If you're interested, it's in the marketplace as well. It's called the Valley. The project file is around 100 gigabytes or so as well. And with the base settings, I got 30, 40 FPS maybe. But I went crazy. If you go into the options, you have pretty much anything that you can think of when it comes to ray tracing. It's insane. The list of things you can change just for ray tracing, it takes you minutes to go through. It's not like in a game, ray tracing, lighting on, shadow on, blah blah. No. It's the light setup is like this long. So you have the numbers of bounces, how far it bounces, and all that bullshit. I maxed it. Well, I maxed out what I understood. I had less than 5 I think 5 FPS was the maximum in the editor. I could literally not move the camera. So absolutely
It's
nuts.
pretty safe to say that you made something insane.
Yeah. I mean, it looked epic. They just have the best company name. Seriously. It looked epic. Yeah, definitely. But let me show you. The valley is here. Valley of the Ancient. The all the mountains and everything are mega textures. Those were also used in the Mercat demo. Oh wait, it doesn't show. Display capture. So this is the project file basically, and that's already 2 years old. Almost, yeah, it's 2 years. 2 years old. And you can change the animation of that big guy here in the editor, and this is what all the demo parts look like, what happens when and stuff. So yeah, Unreal is Unreal, definitely. And yeah, you can make and change animations in the editor. You can 3D model stuff. Theoretically, you don't need anything else than just Unreal Engine 5 to do everything. So it's freaking insane. It's such a complete program. Yeah, It's crazy.
It definitely is. Specifically when you're considering that stuff like 3D Max exists for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 3ds Max or Autodesk, they do have their own engine. There have been a few years ago, they released a few games with it, but well, it looked good, but performance-wise, it was a nightmare. And I'm not sure. I think they worked on a Maya game engine as well, but it's not good. It uses way too much resources and everything. So I'm not sure if they continued with that. Okay, so to prove everybody that this actually is a game and not video, the developer released proof of it. So why is that not centered? Oh, because it's the display capture now. God damn it. Okay, that's how I can do it. Okay. So let's watch how what we just saw looks in the editor. So gonna play this now. There's no audio in that. Oh, there's actually. Okay. This is so funny. Bang, 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 bang. Just shooting somewhere. Hey, look, it's a game. Actually, the weird thing is, the body cam is not on your chest. This looks more like a... I don't know.
It looks like it's a head perspective.
Yeah. Or on your neck or something.
At least on your chin.
Yeah, something like that.
I think they moved the camera to be on the level when your eyes realistically should be. Well, it may be a little bit lower to have this body camera perspective or whatnot. To make players less dizzy and to
Yeah,
make that arms won't cover anything.
they already said in the forum that there will be different ways to change stuff for motion sickness or against motion sickness and stuff. So yeah. All right, yeah, well, that was the proof that this is a game.
Yeah. For what they're going to do, it's definitely ambitious, at least how it looks like.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, and I can understand this. A lot of people think this might be too much, but that's what you get with photorealism. I mean, you will have games based on reality, and
We ain't getting into Uncanny Valley yet.
Yeah, well, some people were like, yeah, who wants to play that? Or that's too much. And, you know, if you...
People want to play war simulators or stuff like SWAT 4 or SWAT 3
Yeah.
or
If this and I guess from the theme, it might go in that direction. This might be a game like SWAT, from all we know. Because then
oh, yeah. Also, Ready or Not was released not so long ago. Well, in early access, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you have games that will offend somebody at one point. But with the games from now on, parents really, really, really have to be careful and make sure what their kids play. This is 100% not a game that should get in any child's hands. Nobody younger than, let's say, maybe 16 or so should be able to get their hands on this game, because having a game where you shoot somebody and you still see it's a game is one thing. but this looks super realistic already. You do still see it's a
Yeah,
game, but
it's not like COD or Battlefield when you can see that heavy HUD presence. And if we're talking about stuff like Arma, well, Arma made a lot of stuff to be as immersive as possible, but you still can see those simplistic movements, those robotic commands over the radio and whatnot, that kind of reminding you that this is still a simulation and not.
But I think, without knowing statistics, but I think that barely any kid plays a game like Arma.
Yeah, yeah, true.
They
As far
do
as I know,
play.
I was the only one who played Arma
They
when I was in
do.
the school.
They do play stuff like Modern Warfare and stuff like that, and that's also not right. They should also not play GTA 5 when they're 10 years old. And yeah, but having a game that is completely 100% based on reality, where you shoot people that realistic, definitely doesn't need to be in hands of children. So,
and we're back getting to the argument against video games since Mortal Kombat.
yeah, but you know,
Games have
those killer games
advice.
discussions and debates were all about games that looked still as a freaking game. But if you play,
Yes, but when we're talking about Mortal Kombat, it was real actors.
yes, but still, first, Mortal Kombat is a brawler. It's not an ego shooter.
Yeah, okay.
So, and it's also not in any way based on anything possible in reality. So,
yeah, okay, maybe not.
So, yeah, I mean, we had the talk and the discussions when I was younger, about Doom, about Counter-Strike and all that stuff. Games that train kids to become killers and whatnot bullshit. But when it comes to games that look like this, I just played a game called Into the Radius in VR. It's super realistic when it comes to weapon handling, for example. I had a weapon, I don't know what rifle that is, but you basically have a built-in magazine for 5 or 6 bullets, and you have to load it bullet by bullet. So you put in the bullet one by one, and if you shoot with it, you have to knock it on yourself. So it's crazy. Same with pistols. They have security that you have to open up so you can shoot. You have to slide back to well, cock it and make it ready and stuff like that. You can either pull out the mag or, well, make it shoot out, as you can do with pistols. And super realistic. If you have a game like this with Unreal 5 engine looks in VR, it's definitely, it needs to be forbidden by law at this point that kids get access to those games. Back in the day, it was a joke. You had those you had pixels all over the place, but we're at the point with 4K and up resolutions, with AI controlled anti-aliasing and upscaling and all that stuff. Textures or games. What was that game? I think it was actually the new Jedi game that needs around 20 gigabytes of video RAM for the absolute maximum graphics possible. I think it was the new Jedi game. I'm not sure. I could be wrong with that. But I read about a game that needs, in the maxed out settings, 20 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's a 4080 or 4090. Basically, nobody has that graphics card to play it on the maximum settings. But we had a game back in the day that was the reason for But can it run Crysis?
Let's not forget about can it run Quake?
Yeah, that question wasn't there at this point yet. I mean, Quake was still capable of running on lower end machines. Crysis was not.
Yeah, that's
Crytek
true.
Crytek did one thing, and well, they could take that freedom at that point to say, we want to make a game that looks so good that you need the next or second next generation graphics card to max it out. So a game that lasts a while and will still look good over the years. And if you
Basically, we want to fry use GPU.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, with every PC that I had, I played Crysis. I mean, I didn't play through it, but you could see that it looked better and better, and obviously ran better and better with another generation. So even if it was outdated, and if you look at it now, the game is what, like 12 years old, 15 years or so.
It was remastered.
The remaster is bullshit, from what I read. Just stick to the original and max that out. Because the remastered is based on the Xbox One version, I think, or something.
I heard it based on Switch version.
That I don't know. I mean, the Switch is also 1080p, but it's based on a console.
It's still Switch.
The remaster for 2 and 3 is supposed to be much better because that is actually based on a PC version, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I remaster one of the best looking games of all times from a subpar hardware. Makes absolutely no sense. They should have remastered it so it's just playable on Gen 3 NVIDIA and up.
Say that to Sega and Atlus, who re-released Persona 3 Portable for Game Pass instead of Persona 3 FAS.
Yeah, I mean, some decisions are just stupid. But if you have the best looking game of its time, if you remaster it, you must make it the best looking game of this time. Otherwise, a remaster.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If you look at all the new versions of Skyrim, for example, I only have the bare original, no DLC, so I couldn't get the others cheaper and stuff. If you take the original and put in like 100 mods for everything, it looks freaking insane to this day, and that game is over 10 years old. So
yeah, and we have something like Legendary Edition, like let's sell Skyrim for 15,000 times.
I think Skyrim is the most re-released and remastered game of all time. I don't know another game that was put on so many. Oh yeah, Doom, the original Doom. Yeah, okay, that's running on a refrigerator and on smartwatches and bullshit.
Doom have a lot of third party support, like from the community.
Yeah,
We have at least 3 actively developed source ports.
Yeah, but from a company officially, yeah, I think it might actually be Skyrim at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and one of those source ports of Doom was used to create completely new game. And it was released on Steam like in 2021 or 2020.
Which one?
I don't remember. Right? If I'll see it, I might remember it. But
because the retro games like Iron. No, it was they changed.
Iron Fury.
Iron Fury, for example, is not the Doom engine. That's the.
It's heavily modified build engine.
Yeah. Exactly. But also, I mean, that's an engine over 20 years old, and it's still capable of doing new shit. You know, it's pretty awesome.
And the funny thing is, this new game that made in 20+ year engine can fry original hardware.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like original hardware have no hopes to running this game.
No, it doesn't work. Doesn't work on original hardware. It's not. It's not based on that. It's based on new hardware, but with the old engine. Talking about old engines, I lost hope for a game I was really looking forward to, Starfield.
Finally, what happened?
They use a freaking optimized Fallout 76 engine.
Excuse moi?
Exactly. They continue to work on the engine they use since fucking Morrowind. It's okay if that's a fan project. If you use a fan project and you say, hey, let's take an outdated, by decades, outdated engine and try to make something new. They make a fucking open world. Well, it's not the first open world game, but now it's in space. I will not get that game because if I fly through space and see a fucking...
You'll see dragons in space!
If I see a fucking dragon in Starfield, I lose my shit. Seriously. When I was really thinking that they at least used, I don't know,
at least something.
Whatever engine. Any engine. Seriously. Even Unity 5 is better than fucking whatever the name of the freaking Fallout bullshit engine is. I mean, come on.
Unity 5 at least younger. Much younger.
Yeah, and definitely less buggy than that bullshit. I mean, how can you use that engine? Seriously, after the debacle you had in Fallout 76 with all that bullshit, Todd needs to be kicked.
The name of the game that was made on Doom engine on Discord. Hedon.
Ah! Oh, really? I think I have that actually.
Yeah, it's a Doom engine. JZ Doom to be correct.
I think I actually have that. Yeah, I have that. That's a Doom engine. Ah, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Wait, I need to switch here again. Wait.
So yeah, they made simple 3D for Doom engine. This is freaking insane.
I mean, just the quality of the textures is freaking awesome.
Original Doom would die and not make quality like this.
That would be interesting to try this on my fucking badass PC that I had back then with the workstation graphics card. I still have that PC in parts somewhere. I have every of my PC in boxes. I never sold one PC. My old PCs always went to my parents. So they always got my gaming PCs.
Nice.
I need to play that, seriously. Why didn't I play that yet?
And yes, JZ Doom made something that Doom wasn't capable of. They made Doom room over roof. Room over room.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you basically consider this as Pinky.
Yeah. With a thong or something. I don't know. Looks like he's wearing a thong.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, I need to play this game. Definitely. I think I got it from Humble, from a bundle or so. From the Boomer Shooter bundle or some bullshit. Let me actually see. Where do I have that from? Yeah, Humble Choice. Okay. Yeah, then it was Humble Choice. I don't know when I got it. Not too long ago.
So yeah. Even if we look at some old engines that are heavily modified, they also capable to push boundaries for what they used to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
as far as I know, build engine no, JZ Doom is still in active development,
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
and
And you can
people,
you can even get different render systems for those engines.
yeah. Oh, also people who made this JZ Doom, they made a source port for build engine based on JZ Doom.
Yeah, it's so crazy. When coders are capable of their shit.
Yeah, and this is one of the few build source ports who can run all those locked levels from the recent release, recent official release of Duke Nukem 3D.
Mm. Yeah, that's
So,
also
yeah,
Duke Nukem is also so heavily modified still. Um, you can play. I should check. I'm not sure if there's actually a VR mod, but there might be one. Um, the way to play Duke Nukem 3D today is with eDuke 32. I'm not sure if there's anything better yet, but
Duke 32 and Blood. I like and Blood more. Not, it's not Blood. It's not on Blood anymore. Mm. So yeah, that I used to use that engine that was originally Blood release, but yeah, now I'm using that JZ that source port from JZ Doom developers.
mm. But back to Duke Nukem 3D, you can play it with 3D polygon models now and the high-res textures and whatnot, and it runs like a charm.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's running much better than official release. Like official release is so fucking bad that you have distortion on the screen when you're looking up and down.
I don't know. The last time I played it was with eDuke.
Well,
Um,
I'm talking about not Megaton edition, but oh, what's the name of that crap? 20th anniversary World Tour. World
yeah,
Tour is good. 20th anniversary is fucking bad.
yeah. That's. I think I have both versions actually, but as far as I know, the 20th anniversary they added a few more levels, which is nice to have. But the
Yeah,
game,
that's a World Tour, and it's locked, so it wouldn't be you wouldn't be able to play it with any source ports.
yeah,
Very few source ports can play those levels.
yeah. The rest of the game is not that good quality wise, as far as I know. So, oh well.
Well,
Oh yeah.
levels themselves are fine. The problem is the engine that was made to run those levels.
Mm. Yeah, I just know from reviews that it's not a good idea to buy that version. But
Yeah,
there's no other version anymore. You
yeah,
cannot
that's the
get
problem.
the good version is gone. They took that off Steam a few years ago.
Hmm.
I just see it here, and that just reminded me. Here's a question behind your head. Is Unreal Engine 5 bad for Satisfactory Update 8? Satisfactory will switch to Unreal Engine 5. It's Unreal Engine 4 at the moment, but it will switch to 5 with
That's
update.
bad.
Um,
You see, my point is from consumer perspective, and it's going to be the same thing as happened with Resident Evil updates. When they updated Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 to run on the DirectX 12 with ray tracing.
oh yeah, that
Original buyers were pissed. Same thing going to happen with Satisfactory.
they went back again, but they will integrate ray tracing again for Resident Evil.
They went back only in beta channel. Only in beta channel you can switch from DirectX 12 to DirectX 11.
Well, the thing is, if you um, well, running the editor on your PC to create something is a different thing than a game that is based on the Unreal 5 engine. So the thing is, Satisfactory uses a freaking huge map, and the technology in Unreal Engine 4 and a lot of other games, even in Minecraft, for example, is that the part of the land or the area that you're in is basically one chunk of the whole freaking map, and that is loaded. So the moment you move into another chunk, which you don't see because it's an invisible wall, basically, you can think of a map like a texture that is split in a grid. And every time you step into a new area, you have lag because, well, there's new stuff that you didn't see from far away yet, so that needs to be rendered. But in Satisfactory, you also have machines that run in chunks that you are not in. They still have to be computed, and the stuff needs to work, because when you get back, you don't want to have machines that stopped working because they were not loaded and things like that. The difference from Unreal Engine 5 to the earlier ones is that you basically see everything, and the LOD system, LOD stands for level of detail, is normally like this. If you see something in the distance, like a tree, a house or something, the resolution gets so low that it's sometimes not even noticeable fully anymore what it is. You just see there's something in the distance. With the new system in Unreal Engine, you see everything in the highest possible quality from that distance. Yes, it does have lower polygons and everything, but the quality of stuff that is far away is much, much higher now. And you basically, it loads the whole freaking map. You still just see, or it fully renders the stuff that you look at. So behind you, in theory, it would be black in every engine. An engine just renders a bit to the side behind you and not everything behind you. It renders a bit to the side because it doesn't know where will you look, where will you turn. So the moment you turn to a side, it already rendered parts of that. I have to do it like this. It rendered parts of it and kinda forgets what it rendered over here the moment you turn over there. That's base, really, really base level explanation of how an engine works. And with the new lighting systems and all the other stuff integrated in Unreal 5, it should look better with less impact on performance when you move around in newer areas. Those areas, they still have kinda to be rendered, but a whole big portion of it is already there. Some stuff will be explained in the video that I'm about to start in a moment, which explains much more about level creation and also shows how fucking insane the game or Unreal 5 can look. So
I'm not arguing that it's good for the project itself. For how it's what it's going to do, it's definitely for the project in general sounds better. But for the players, this switch going to be crucial. And there will be a lot of refunds, no matter how much time people spend in this game.
why?
Because the people won't be able to run this game. Same thing that almost happened with Resident Evil.
The recommended specs went up before already, so that's unrelated to that's unrelated to the switch to Unreal 5, but the minimum required stuff is already much higher than it used to be back in the day. So oh, they didn't update it yet, but the GTX 700 series is not supported at all anymore. I watched.
Yes, but it's still in Steam.
Yeah, but it is not supported by Nvidia anymore. this generation is dead. There is no support. So it makes no sense to have this support in the game. And well, the game doesn't run on a 770. I watched the video from Coffee Stain about the switch to Unreal 5 and why they changed that and why the system specs will change. It also says recommended to be determined. It's still in development. If you buy it now, I mean, it's a game where you need a pretty beefy system to have it run well. So they definitely need to get rid of this, and they will. The minimum requirement will be a 1060. Anything below will not be supported.
If it's going to be Unreal 5 1060, I don't think that would be enough.
You can run Unreal 5 on a 1060. That's not a problem.
Yes, and already, as you told, it's a slideshow for your system.
No.
An editor.
Editor
Yeah,
and a game are completely two different worlds. It's like saying, I drive a regular series Porsche, but why isn't that as fast as the 911 they use in the races? It's also a 911. What the fuck? Why is that faster than mine? So you cannot compare that.
Considering this game is still in development, I doubt that there will be a lot of optimization done.
Unreal Engine used to be and is still a really scalable system. So it can go pretty low. So you can play it on lower end stuff. It will look like shit. I mean, every game engine looks like shit if you play it on an outdated hardware and need to be playing true. on low settings. I mean, let's be honest about that. If you have a car from 1950, yeah, it might drive, but it takes like a minute to get up to speed. It's still driving. It drives like shit, but it's still driving, and that's also what. I mean, let's see what. Okay, it's a different engine and it scales really insane, but Doom Eternal, a game that looks fucking insane.
Yes, but Doom Eternal insanely good optimized for low spec.
And they already have a 1050 Ti as minimum, so I could play this on my stream PC without any issues because I have a 1060 with 4 gigabytes. I have it's a real gamer card. So I'm capable of running Doom from 2016 maxed out in the absolute highest settings with 60 plus FPS with no drops below on a 1060. Okay, but again, its tech engine is a whole different beast.
Yes, not every engine developed by Carmack.
But again, yeah, well, id-Tech is not developed by Carmack anymore. The actual one for a few years. Carmack is not in it anymore. He's with
Spirit
Meta.
Still within.
Yeah, well, Spirit is one thing, but having actually the guy, but
he used to be there when they developed id-Tech 5.
Yeah, we were at id-Tech 7. But they managed to keep up the high level that he founded or based everything on. So yeah. But again, back to Unreal. The requirements to run the engine is a whole different thing than running a done game, because you have all textures showing that you wouldn't see in the game and stuff like that. You see the whole world. You see pretty much everything that you will never see in a game, because in a game it is rather limited. Like in the Mercat demo, you wouldn't know that there are blocks of levels back in the distance. You just see tiny bits of it. So you wouldn't know or have to render those. That's why the performance is low on my end, because, well, I can see everything. So, And not just the world and everything. No, you see all those markers and buttons and things and a 3D model for the camera view and all those kind of things. So that's why you need basically twice as much power in your PC to run the engine that you would need for the game to run. So the Valley of the Ancients, if I make it an executable, that will run much better than when I hit play in the editor. So that's a completely different thing. But you already need a good PC for the Satisfactory to run it. That will not change. Definitely not. You will maybe need a little bit more power to have the same FPS than you're used to. But yeah, I don't think that there will be much of an outcry, because if you cannot run the game now, you will also not be able to run it with Unreal 5, I guess. So there will not be much change. But the requirements for the game itself will be upgraded, and should have been upgraded for a while, because again, the 700 series is not supported since last year, I think. I think the lowest might be the 900 series. Anything else, go away. Windows 7 is also not supported anymore. Not even by Steam officially. It's over. Windows 7 doesn't have any support by Valve on Steam anymore. So at this point, if I see posts about it's not running in Windows 7, I really have to hold back to not post really bad stuff, because seriously, if you use an operating system that is over 10 years old, at this point, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot, and you should stay away from gaming on PC and buy a fucking console. Seriously, and shut up about stuff you have no fucking clue about. Alright, let's watch a few minutes of that presentation. It's basically about the environment and something they added in 5.2, which will make it maybe a little bit too easy in the future for good-looking asset flips, because Unreal Engine 5.2 can generate level that looks good. It auto-generates stuff, and when you move things, it adapts the whole area to that. But you will see that. I'm at 449. You want to?
Yeah, I'll see it on the stream.
Okay. So I'm not gonna talk too much for the next few minutes, because they are talking. I think I'm actually doing something on the side. So if you don't see my camera, I'm not around. So I will be back in a moment. I already saw that anyway. So yeah, enjoy, and yeah, I will be back in a moment.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to get to show you some of the new experimental features we've been working on for Unreal Engine 5.2. Let's take a look. All right, so last year, we added several new features to the engine to support foliage rendering, and the Fortnite team used those features to ship Battle Royale Chapter 4. At the same time, Jacob over there and the team at Quixel were experimenting with what's possible for photoreal foliage environments, as well as testing out the latest functionality that we've been building for Unreal Engine. So, Jacob's here with us today in the Unreal Editor. Let's explore the environment. And what better way to do that than off-roading? And what better way to off-road than in a Rivian R1T? Now, Rivian uses Unreal to power their instrument cluster, including 3D visualization of their vehicles. So we worked with them to bring the R1T to life in this experience. Let's head on out, Jacob.
Sure thing, on my way.
All right. So we're building tools for interactive and dynamic worlds.
Kinda strange
So
to
here
see
we have chaos
that
physics
plug
simulating rocks
into...
that tumble as we drive over them. Leaves bend out of the way. And we also added some real-time
What was the
fluid
question?
simulation.
Kinda strange to see that plug in presentation
We
of
worked
the
with the
game
team at
engine.
Rivian to set up Unreal's
I don't know, I
vehicle
didn't see
model
it.
to simulate the suspension of the truck
That car
and how the
and
electric
that,
motors drive each individual wheel.
yeah,
CAM
that car
also
basically.
simulates how the tires compress and deform, and meta sounds enabled the team to precisely resynthesize the sounds of the electric motors.
I didn't even saw
mix
that
them
car
with the
before
animatronics
that.
to
I didn't
jumble.
know that there was an electrical pickup Jeep thingy, whatever it is. Oh, wait a second. Why is
Same
that?
thing,
So Rivian
but they
provided us
plugged
with a
it
highly
in.
detailed model
So
of the truck, about 71 million
some kind of
polygons that we're able to render in real time
investment
thanks to nanite. Now the
happening
Rivian
here.
not only looks incredibly realistic because of lumen and nanite, but also its materials. And today, we're introducing Substrate, our new material framework.
So those pixels that you just could see, that's responsible for the high
And to
quality
better
of the LED
demonstrate it,
system.
let's swap the
The
paint
nanites.
out for opal. Now, of course, you can't order a Rivian with opal body panels, but opal was the internal code name for this project, and also a really great demonstration of Substrate's capabilities. The base layer
Everything you
models the
see is
iridescence,
real time. It's not
refraction,
pre-rendered or
and
anything. This
reflection
is
that
they
occur
do
inside
this
of an
at the
opal.
moment.
And on top of that is a layer representing the polished surface and how light is absorbed as it travels through that clear layer
If
of varying
this
depths.
paint job would be
And
possible,
now we can add back on the dust and dirt layers. And notice how the
If
reflection
that paint
changes
job
when
would be
interacting with the dust
possible,
layer,
that
and that
would
there
be
are no
freaking
artifacts
insane.
along the transition
Yeah.
from dirt to dust to opal. So Substrate is more expressive, enabling artists to create materials like this with different shading models and compose and layer those materials as they see fit. All right, let's head on out, Jacob.
remember the times where you had mirrors on cars that
In
didn't
terms of performance,
reflect everything in the
substrate
back,
materials that are
or
similar to the current
sometimes
Unreal Engine
nothing?
shading model cost about
Those
the same.
reflected
But
everything
now, artists
from the
have
side
freedom
window.
to author more complex materials for extremely detailed use cases, like in cinematics and in film. So
I mean,
we're
look
gonna
at,
drive under this fallen
at
tree
those
here,
graphics.
and
That doesn't look
everything
like a
that you've
freaking
seen
game
up
anymore.
to this point was painstakingly hand-built by the
It
environment team
still
at Quixel.
have this
Everything since that fallen
unrealistic
tree
feeling
has
in
been
it.
built using our brand new experimental suite of procedural
Specifically
content
with
generation.
coloring and light.
Entirely an engine that are flexible, deterministic, and artist-driven. Our guiding principle
Yeah, I'm
in
not sure
building
that
these
there's
systems was to
everything
empower
active at the
artists to
moment
make
when it
tools
comes to
for
ray
artists.
tracing.
Yeah,
So
ray
Jacob's gonna
tracing
go ahead and
definitely
add
off.
a procedural assembly
Maybe
to the
because
world.
of that
And the cool
demonstration.
thing is that
Yeah.
it communicates.
Now look at this. I mean, this is...
Yeah. Pretty cool.
They just added a model to it.
Yeah,
And the
that
cool
pretty
thing is
much
that it communicates
really
with other
impressive.
nearby procedural elements in the scene.
Wait for it.
Like the creek bed. So let's say a designer comes by, wants to direct the player to drive to the left. Jacob can simply move the assembly to the right, and everything updates to accommodate that change.
This is
Game design is
insane.
iterative, so let's say the designer comes back, wants to give the player the choice of going left or right again. Jacob can simply move the assembly back over. Now, the artist who created this assembly also added some additional handles that Jacob can use to art direct where rock slides occur. Allows him to customize the piece a little bit more, make it a little easier for the Rivian to drive by. So we started by handcrafting that original part of the level to set the visuals and art direction for the entire piece, and then
A
built
lot
out
of
procedural tools that allowed the team to
automatization
create a much
happening
larger play space
in
much more
Unreal
quickly.
5.
Now let's see
Specifically
how we can use
on
these
development
procedural
side.
tools to make larger sweeping changes to the environment.
Yeah, that's
So
why I
Jacob,
want to
let's
start
by
making
removing some of
something.
the trees in this area.
Absolutely, that's easy enough actually.
All right, a little too much. Let's add some trees back in.
Okay.
And let's also add in some cliff formations, give it a little bit more variability. So the
He's not
procedural
doing
systems are
anything,
all
he's just
deterministic.
changing
Jacob
numbers.
is experimenting with different
Yeah,
sets of input
and we
parameters.
can
Once he
remember
finds a set that he likes,
Oblivion,
he can always go back
how
to
it
it and get out
ended
exactly the
up
same result.
with
And the
trees
procedural
and
systems
rocks
aren't just
when
placing
they
trees and rocks,
do
but also fog
practically
cards,
the same
bugs,
thing.
birds, everything
And
I
that's
have no
Well,
idea
yeah,
about what they
Kino.
did in that
life.
engine.
And everything that you've seen here works at scale. This environment is 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers.
in
If we hide
2006
all the procedural
that
elements, we can see that
was
original hand-built area.
possible
about
but
200
looked
meters by 200
completely
meters.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
We believe that there will always be the need for hand-building environments.
This is all they
so we
built.
design these procedural systems to be tools for artists.
The
to
rest
work in
was all
concert
done by the
and build
engine.
Content. Both Substrate and the new procedural tools will be available in experimental form in 5.2. And everything you've seen
Good
here
skybox,
is
what
running in
can
the
I
Unreal
say?
Editor in real time on a developer machine with an Intel 13900K CPU and NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPU. So Jacob, thanks for being here and helping us out today.
Thank you very much, Nick, for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So that's what you want to have in your production PC, a 4090.
All right, so come visit us at the Unreal Engine booth on the Expo
Or
floor. You can
several
check
of
out
them.
this demo.
So
Duct tape together.
so the I use Unreal since the pre-build, I don't know, was kind of like a closed beta, and like I said, the recommended things to use it at high quality was a 3080 or so. So they're a 4090 now. so much for how realistic you can make stuff in that engine at this point. I have it installed for 1.5 years or so already. Well, Preview 5.2 I just installed after I saw this, and because I want to try that procedurally generated stuff. The cool thing about Unreal or with Epic, you do get free assets, paid really good quality assets, free every month. So every month you have the chance to grab stuff that costs like, well, 190 for endless procedural worlds, but low poly, or 75 for a freaking station that you can, well, change and do with it whatever you want. It's your asset. You basically pay for it. So I have a crap ton of assets. So I can make really good looking stuff. Well, if I can, I don't know, but I could. I mean, oh wait. Fuck. That's, I need to find a way to do that better. Okay, so let me show it again. So this is basically what you can get for free. Every month you get like 5 normally paid assets to keep forever. So they're yours to do whatever you want with them. And I do have some stuff where I can create different kind of forests, for example, different kind of mountain scenes. So I want to build a little area and then see what Unreal 5.2 can make out of it. But Gesundheit. Looked like you were about to sneeze.
Yeah, not really. I'm yelling a lot.
Okay. So yeah, that's when it comes to level and level creation. There's a lot of stuff that was not that important. Where was the MetaHuman? So MetaHuman is also a system from Epic that is completely free. It's used to generate pretty realistic looking 3D characters.
Generate?
Yes.
Hmm.
You have billions of combinations, basically. And they have a new system where you can use like facial motion capturing through an iPhone, for example. There's one app that is really good, but that's not on Android. And I hate it. You have to use workarounds to make it usable with a freaking Android phone. But I worked in a company where we had a graphics team, and they made all those 3D render movies and whatnot. And we had a shareholder event, and we had our own female mascot character basically for the company, or for that technology that we created back then in that company. And an actress and a comedian was there, and we did that live. So we had live facial motion capturing on the screen basically, and the moderator in front was actively talking and interacting in real time with that character. But that character was so, compared to the metahumans, so low level. I mean, it looked like a CGI character, but it was the 90s, was 1999.
90s.
Yeah, 1999. But everything was there. So when she was smiling and with her eyes and everything, and I've seen the behind the scenes. So I saw her sitting next to the freaking stage, with cam in front and a crap ton of dots in her face. Today you need only a handful, not like 30, 40 or whatnot. And huge production system, crazy. And in another area, there was a dancer. She was also motion captured, also with a suit, and she was doing the movement. So both those were combined to see the creation on the screen. And too bad the phones were shit back then. I have no video of that. That would have been so awesome to see today. And I was basically the administrator who took care of all their systems that they used to create all those 3D animations and everything. So I was their go-to admin for the workstations and for all their 3ds Max needs and whatnot. So yeah, that's also why I'm so interested in all that kind of stuff and why I know a bit more than your regular administrator maybe. So okay, metahumans. Let me see where that part is. That was good.
Well, we now have Japan using something, I guess, similar-ish with their holograms of Vocaloids, specifically to make live performance.
I guess so. I guess so. That's also a pretty cool technology, how they actually show that hologram on the stage. That was first done with Tupac at Coachella a few years ago. He was already dead for a few years. And
few years ago, I think first hologram of Vocaloids appears in 2008.
Like I said, I mean, Tupac is dead for what? Like 20 years?
For a while.
Yeah, so it was the first ever on-stage hologram. No matter, I think it was 2005 or 2000, I don't know. But that was definitely 100% the very first hologram on a live stage. Live hologram on a stage. Well, hologram, it's not really a hologram. It's a visual trick with mirrors and screens and stuff. It looks pretty good.
Basically, something to create something that looks like it's 3D and not just a flat picture.
Yes, but from what we would expect from a hologram, like in Star Trek, in the holodeck or something like that, you cannot walk through him because you have
the thing.
you have to stay away a little bit. But if you want to see that, search for Tupac hologram Coachella or something like that, because they had a song Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre, and they performed that song again after years with him on the stage, and it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice.
Sega actually made it in a way that they basically built a big glass box filled with electronics.
Yeah.
So you don't need to stay away from hologram. Hologram already isolated from you.
Yeah, well, but you still cannot walk through it or be close to that character.
Yeah.
It's technically impossible. It kind of works with a tilted screen, and It's a pretty nice technology. We can do some really nice stuff with it. I saw something similar in the late 80s or early 90s. It was an arcade machine that you could play, and it was basically like a glass dome, and in the middle it looked like small dioramas of different scenes, but it was with real actors, so you were playing. It looked a bit like the chess game that they play in Star Wars on the ship.
Oh, okay.
It looked similar like that. It was also the same size, basically. I didn't get far. It was really, really hard to play. I was shit in it. But you were kind of like a cowboy or something. And, well, it was just... I don't remember it fully, but it was a bit like a shooting range where bad guys and Indians, yeah, I know, but they came out of bushes and stuff and you had to shoot them. But you basically played a holographic movie. It was insane. At the beginning, I was standing there for 15 minutes or so watching somebody else. I was like, dude! I mean, hey, if you watched freaking Tron and then you see something like that right in front of you, you're like, oh, mind blown. Yeah.
My mind was blown when I saw fake 3D for Nintendo 3DS.
Oh yeah. Oh, that actually,
When I saw that, I was like,
I actually have one here. Yeah.
yeah. When I saw that, I was like, man, that looks awesome. And then we have Switch.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, the 3D of the 3DS works insanely good. It's fascinating how good it works without glasses. That's freaking awesome. Because when it came out, you needed glasses for freaking 3D. In the cinema, at home with a TV, 3D TVs are basically dead. I'm happy that I still have one. But you basically had a 3D volume slider where you could choose how much 3D you want. And I was like, what? And I was promoter back then for Nintendo, still selling stuff for Nintendo, and I got it before it was out, and I was like, wow. And also the AR stuff, you had cards with it, and when you placed the camera of the 3DS on it, you could play games in your fucking living room with the 3DS, shooting stuff. Oh wow, there's 3D aliens and whatnot, and crazy, fucking awesome.
Yeah, Sony tried to do that something similar with PS Vita, PS PlayStation Portable, not Vita. But yeah, it required a lot of.
What I really want to play, but the thing is,
Yeah, a lot of resources to not specifically to not to not lose original hardware to play those games.
and the thing is, normally in 90% of all cases, the moment I start a game, I also stream. I did play a lot off stream the last few weeks because I didn't stream that much. I wasn't in the mood for streaming. So I played a lot of VR. Last weekend, for example, I played a shit ton of VR. I bought a VR bundle and had 3 wishlisted games. I had to try them. So I'm kind of holding back to playing games just for me at this point. That's also the reason why I didn't play this. And yeah, it's mirrored because I want to have my right hand go up on the screen when I put up my right hand. So I had to switch it. But this is the 3DS version of one of the best games ever made, Ocarina of Time, the remaster. And I played it when I sold it back then. And I bought that for $10. So yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, $10 for your kid, that's fine. Give me that game. It looks freaking awesome. And the cool thing about the 3DS version of this game, in in the original version, you also had to use a slingshot or something in a first-person view. Now you're actually in the first-person view. That means you have to turn physically.
Oh yeah, gyroscope and camera.
Yes, you have to move and aim physically. It's fucking awesome. It's just so cool. That was one of the best mobile consoles of all times, in my opinion. The 3D added to it, and the freaking analog sticks. They might be a bit finicky sometimes, but it's just a freaking awesome console. I have two of those.
Yeah, at least it got a lot more love than PlayStation Vita.
Yeah. Maybe at one point there's a way to build in a capture card or something, but it costs like $100 or so. But maybe
that's a lot.
Maybe at one point I'm gonna risk it. So but I don't know. I didn't play anything on 3DS for years. I have the Ambassador program, so I have a shit ton of old games that they released for those who, at the beginning, it was relatively expensive. People complained, and then they were like, okay, if you bought it at the beginning and kept it and didn't refund it or anything or give it back, you get free games from their retro stuff. So I have original Super Mario, Motocross something, and anyway, definitely off topic. So I want to show a bit what facial animation and things like that will look like in the future, because graphics might be good, but the moment you interact with an NPC or something, that's where you will still see it's a game, no matter how good the rest looks.
Never forget Andromeda.
Yeah, I didn't play that. So
me neither. I saw a lot of those facial animations to get traumatized for life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, some might be good, some might not be. But yeah, back in the day, you only had a few points in a face that were animated, basically, so really limited. Now they kinda simulate muscles in your face. So, because if you laugh, you use a shit ton of muscles. So, if you laugh, your eyes change, and it's not just your mouth. Well, back then it was like that. Now, we will get this. You watch on the stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Human technology, Vladimir Masilovich, and the actress best known as Senua from Ninja Theory's fantastic Hellblade series, Melina Jurgens. How are you both doing?
We're good, thank you.
I'm looking forward to the new
since we were
Senua.
last on the stage. In fact, I think it was 7 years ago
Yeah,
that
first
we
one
went through
was
this
good.
ordeal.
That's a long time
A little
ago.
bit of PTSD triggering there.
Yeah, so yeah, this is basically this is kinda what it looked like back then from what I said earlier, but with way more
And by
dots.
back then, you mean when it was already developed a lot?
Well, this is from 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
what I'm talking about.
yeah. Now you have those helmets where you have the camera on it, and the camera is not moving a single bit. That was all done with external cameras. The actress back then, I think she only had something that was lighting her face up, but the cameras were in front of her. So there was no, she couldn't really turn around or anything, because well, then half of the face wouldn't have been captured or something, and like half of the face not moving on stage or on the big screen, because she was on a movie cinema like screen, not that small screen like this. No, this is tiny compared to what we had. Ours was basically twice the size or so.
Show
Well,
off.
yeah, we had to show off. There were all those people who bought freaking millions of shares that we had. I'm not gonna say that there was some bullshit going on, and the company was closed because of that. But at that event, it was still a freaking awesome company. We didn't know. But yeah, they basically, my company was, not my company, the company I worked for, was one of the big players responsible for the Millennium crash. Yeah, we were part of that. And
I
being,
don't think we didn't notice.
yeah, and the thing was, because of that happened, I couldn't get money from the government that I would have gotten otherwise, because they heard, oh, you have to do with internet? Okay, no, we're not gonna finance that. Hey, what? And it was years ago. Hey, come on, dudes. No. If, internet, no, it's dangerous. Internet companies are dangerous. Well, the CEOs of the company, they combined, and it was before the euro, they combined lost 1.6 billion back then, which, well, with recession and inflation and everything, might be the same in euros today. So they lost a lot. And I'm happy that I didn't buy any stocks and that I left the company before the ship completely sank. They asked me to stay, and I said, hey, you know what? No, I rather have no money, and because if you cancel a job, you will not get support from government for 3 months. If you get fired, you will get it from day one, so you don't miss out. But if you decide to go, you get no money. Well, I decided to go. A friend of mine, he stayed in the company, and he had to struggle to get his money that they had to pay him. Well, the company was kind of closed down, so so they went, there's a term for it here. They basically called bankrupt, so all the money was frozen, and well, employees didn't get their money on time, and and I went out 3 months before that happened. So I wouldn't have gotten the money either for working the 3 months or canceling the job and not getting paid the 3 months from the government. So, but I didn't work for 3 months, so but this was the same outcome.
Yeah, at least you didn't work 3 months. That's a different outcome anyway.
Yeah. Well, I did get my dog at that time and had 3 months to take care of my dog from, well, basically 24/7, which was needed because I was the one cleaning up after him and stuff. My ex was working at the time, so I was at home taking care of the dog and getting up at night, cleaning, and anyway, fun times back in the 90s. But yeah, that company basically, if I wouldn't have, or if the company wouldn't have done what they did, I guess I would still be in that company. If you were capable of doing stuff, you could become team leader in half a year or so. So you could make a shit ton of money if you were good and if you wanted. And I started as a little dude on the hotline taking care of the handful of internet accounts that we had. We had our own internet stuff, and they actually rebuilt part of the town as as a social meeting place for users. So we kinda had something like VR chat in the 90s already, working and running. Not with VR, but you could walk around. You had 3D avatars and everything, and it was basically the place in front of the what's the English term for that? Of the town hall, basically. Because there's a huge space in front of that, and well, you had all the buildings outside, but you could walk around that spot with your avatar and talk to people, and yeah.
Like in Second Life.
Second Life, basically. Yeah, Second Life, but well, it started around the same time. I think Second Life started in the 90s as well. I could be wrong, but I think it started around the same time. It was similar, yeah, Second Life. it was planned that you can also visit those stores from our
2003. Second Life started in 2003.
But there was something similar before that, I think.
Maybe.
But it was
But,
what we had was kinda like an early version of Second Life, a really limited area and stuff. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we had a 3D team. They were doing all that stuff. If I would have been in that company still, I would not be administrator anymore. I would be doing shit like that. And I think we might have gone in that direction. We started doing 3D animated movies and stuff. And it was funny to see the guy creating that 3D avatar. Hey, look what happens when I press this and her lips were like boop. Well, he didn't just show me that with her lips, obviously. I mean, she had big feet then. And anyway, so yeah, back in the day it was different, and it cost a lot of money to do all that stuff. Now I can do it with a freaking phone, an app that costs $20 or so, and Unreal Engine. So, all right, let's continue here.
We went through this
yeah,
ordeal.
we also had something
triggering that, but it was
similar
the first time
for
we all
users
came
to
together.
use,
Ninja
like
Theory,
face
Epic,
rig.
Motion, 3-lateral, to do
Oh yeah,
something
that's
we thought
still
would
a thing,
wow
and it is
audiences
more
here, sort of set
sophisticated
a
now than
tone
it used to be
future
in the
for
old
some
version.
characters in games.
It's called
We're in a
animes
really,
now.
amazing place right
Oh,
now in the industry, but we do
maybe.
want to take things to the
Yeah.
next level. And what I want to do,
It is
a little bit
basically
about how can we
capable of
go in
motion
and how's
capturing
the
your
opening
face.
game going?
Yeah,
Almost
the
like this
team
as
are
well,
doing
but
really good, and we're
you have to pay for that
busy
license.
working on the follow-up to the first Hellblade
But just look at the
called
quality of
Saga
that
Hellblade.
freaking
I can't wait.
character
This game's
in the
fantastic.
game
I
is
really can't wait to play it, so
insane.
Get it out soon. Anyway, I'm going to leave the stage and let these two take over. Go and blow people's minds.
Thank
See
you.
later.
Kim. Hi, everyone. Our guiding vision for MetaHuman has been the democratization of complex character technologies, allowing you to work faster and see the results immediately. A character is only truly believable if its motion fidelity matches its visual fidelity, but animating at this level is a hard task for even the most skilled
Both
studios.
Source
Some of our best work
Filmmaker and
leveraged 4D
Oblivion
capture,
Engine
but this took
crying
specialized hardware and
after
weeks or even
seeing
months of processing
all
time.
those not crazy faces.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that freaking quality. I mean, that's, you will see more detail of her soon, but yeah, the 3D model looks pretty insane already.
While MetaHuman Creator gave you the ability to generate high-quality characters, animating them still wasn't as easy.
And MetaHuman is also
This is
free
why
to
I'm very
use,
excited to announce a new capability to the MetaHuman product.
but as long as you
MetaHuman
don't make
Animator.
millions of money with the game that you
MetaHuman
create.
Animator contains
Yeah.
the essence of our
But it's
4D
free.
pipeline, but optimized to run on a single machine.
This time is
It is
the
able to use
easiest
as well as
to
stereo
create
professional
high quality
systems.
games. It was
And
never
today,
easier than now.
We're going to demonstrate how it works. For this, we're going to need Mel, our technician John Cook, and just the phone.
Yep, that's where technology is now.
Sure.
No rigs,
we
no
ready?
shit, no anything anymore. A phone and
Yeah,
light.
take this
Okay,
freaking
and
camera and do
action.
whatever.
I
Yeah.
need performance
Not
capture
even
to
a
work
camera,
like
a
mirror.
phone.
I needed to capture whether I'm acting scared or angry. And sometimes all I need is a look.
Cut. Thanks, Mel. That was great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That
Okay.
was it.
Our technician John is currently pulling Mel's performance from the phone onto his machine, where everything will be processed locally. We have updated our Live Link Face mobile app to capture all data at the best resolution possible with the device.
Where you
MetaHuman
still have to
Animator
do a
uses
few
video
things,
and
but
depth data to
Well,
convert,
obviously.
this data into high fidelity performance
compared
animation.
compared to the
Even use
past,
audio to produce convincing tongue animation.
Specifically
John is currently scrubbing through
compared
the take to pick the section that he
to
wants to
even
process.
recent technology
John, are
that
we all good with the data?
most widespread
Awesome.
when you
So from
still
now
have
on,
lights
it's just a single button
and
click to kick off the processing, which for a performance
dots
of this length
that
will take
going
less than a
to
minute to convert.
rig your face to specific point on the character face.
yeah, just being able to to recognize stuff like this. This is where AI technology will come in handy and actually be good. I mean, we can see what AI in quotes can do with DLSS, for example, with upscaling textures or the resolution in games.
Yeah, and we saw GTA Definitive Edition.
Yeah, nah.
That's when AI not get supervised.
Did they use that? Did they use AI for GTA Remastered?
Yes,
Yeah, well,
for everything in it.
really? Okay, yeah, well,
Yes.
the AIs we have today is better than the AIs that they used for that. Definitely.
It was like 2 years ago.
Hey, 2 years. You know what ChatGPT can do now compared to
Yes.
3 months ago?
The test.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, just DLSS is at version 3 or 4 now, and it came out 2 years ago, so something like that. Back then, you could definitely see where DLSS is working. I only had one game that I remember at the moment where I can see that DLSS is really active, and that was in Portal RTX, because with ray tracing active on my machine, which is not officially supported by the game anymore in that version because you need a Gen 3 NVIDIA, and but with DLSS on a really hardcore setting, which is performance, with regular textures, no problem. But the moment I looked up, for example, and you had those ceiling fans somewhere in a smaller room, the mesh in front of it, depending on the angle I looked up, there was no mesh. Mesh was gone. And when you looked up, you could see that the mesh was maybe 800 by 600 or something like that. The rest of the textures, they were totally fine on the floor. They didn't look HD 4K, obviously, but not pixelated or anything or really bad. But because of that moving fan, I guess the texture wasn't there always, because there was light behind that fan, the one that I checked, and I could say, oh, okay, that's where DLSS is working right now. But otherwise, yeah, in still pictures, in screenshots, maybe yes, you can see that. Mostly in more distant stuff, but in stuff next to you and in front of you, it's barely noticeable. So the performance boost that you get from that is really, really good. So when it comes to things like that, where AI helps you to achieve stuff that would take 10 times as long doing it by hand or something like that, I totally understand it, and I don't mind. But, well, you can use ChatGPT to basically code a game for you. And it works. So, and they already use ChatGPT or any other of the AIs to create news. They write the news. You give them the topics and whatever you want to say, and they write the whole freaking article for you.
Yeah, and when it comes to tests, yeah, I saw some news that some students wrote down essays with that thing.
Yeah.
But I also read the follow-up news that it was so fucking insane, so fucking inaccurate, so fucking non-human that a teacher could say for sure, yep, they didn't write this.
Yeah, and it was... well, it might be tricky in the future, but it was relatively easy to find out that it was basically copied from other sources.
Yeah.
So plagiarism is easier with an AI, obviously, because, well, you don't have to copy and search for stuff. No, the AI is doing that for you. But the thing that AI is...
Oh yeah, you don't even need AI for some of those things. you can take SEO tools and put a whole sentence in it, and SEO tool would give you like 30 different varieties of the same sentence, and they all going to be some sort of unique. You just can pick one that you like the most and put it in.
The thing that you can recognize at the moment, also in art done by AI, it's not inspired by stuff that is out there already. It combines, copies, and morphs stuff that it finds, which is already created by somebody else. So
yes, and most of it's all freaking same. Yes, characters changing.
I've
Plane maybe changes, but if you saw one portrait generated by AI, you saw them all.
yeah,
No
well,
matter if it's ChatGPT or not.
if they use the same avatar-like setting, maybe, but that's all what you write in them. I saw a video today where it was from a live stream on YouTube yesterday. Somebody made well, kind of an animated video with a lot of right-wing US politicians. Those are the guys that are completely against drag and everything. And the AI made them all into drag queens. Glamorous clothing, makeup. They were talking, so their faces were moving, and they sounded like the original. Maybe not really 100% all the time, but seeing Donald Trump in an orange I don't know what kind of dress it was. Hey, let's make America glamorous again, or something like that. Hilarious, and he looks and sounded like freaking Trump. So that
would be something.
the thing that AI cannot do, and where in a lot of things, like in art lives a lot from emotions. An AI doesn't have emotions. It can maybe interpret emotions. So if you want to have a picture that is maybe a bit depressing, it wouldn't use bright colors. It would, I guess, use darker colors. But you can have bright pictures that can be pretty depressing.
Yeah.
So
or again, bright pictures that can be pretty dark, specifically with the tone and everything.
Yeah, exactly. If I have a I don't know, beautiful sunshine and a nice landscape, and in the front I have a bloody toy, something bad happened to a child, or it's a war zone or whatever. It doesn't matter how beautiful it looks. It will give you that. And AI is not at that point yet. So, and that's good, because I think the moment an AI knows and can have emotions, that's kinda the moment where they might start to actually have a consciousness. And that's when it can be tricky or dangerous. But until then, if it helps you to create stuff, I know an artist, she's also working in the game industry and doing concept art and everything. She combines AI art with her art, because
yeah, I saw some people who used AI art to get some sort of base level, and then they
exactly.
just go like, I can work with that. I'm just going to redraw this stuff. I'm going to add details to there. I'm just going to delete this fucking thing at all. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, that's going to be my picture.
Exactly. I saw some pictures from her. She drew the characters and stuff, and the backgrounds were AI generated. So, and for concept art, it's totally fine. But if you take AI art and sell it, and it's based on art that a human created, that's bullshit. And that's why they got in trouble with a lot of creators because, well, if you look through a few pictures and you're an artist who created pictures like that, you might find a picture that is too similar to your picture. So,
Funny thing is that creators of stuff like ChatGPT and whatnot, they thought that AIs will get rid of working class, basically. They thought that those AIs will replace workers at the workstations. But when artists got hit by that, it was completely unexpected for them.
yeah, well, some stuff is already, some workers are and will already be replaced, mostly in support and hotline areas. A friend of mine on Steam, he's more into AIs and robotics and all that kind of stuff. And there are actually some hotlines in the United States that have not one human sitting there anymore. You are literally talking to the AI. It's not just like, press 1 to go there, press 2 to go there. No, it's literally talking to you. And one of the main reasons they did it, a lot of hotline jobs were done by maybe not the brightest lamps in the store. And
Yeah, I know what you mean.
and immigrants, and we also have that here in Germany, but not that much, so you still understand them. But a lot of scammers and stuff, their German or their English is shit. And no offense to India or anything, but somebody who lives in India, well, it depends how good they learn English, but you can kind of hear that often. And it's often made as a joke. But on hotlines, they had so many problems because of communication problems, basically. That you didn't understand what they were saying, they didn't understand what you were saying. So the service quality was pretty bad. And the service quality went up like crazy after they started using AI voice on hotlines. I mean, for the basic stuff, it's not a problem, really. And if you do need somebody else, you do get transferred to somebody who knows. It's the same like on a hotline. If you have the first guy or first person that is on the hotline might not be the one who knows exactly what you want, and then they can
it's
transfer
basically
you.
the first line whose job just to recognize what
Yeah.
you want.
You know, exactly, and then just basically put you in the right direction. So if you have an AI doing that, hey, totally fine. You still need those other people on the phone, but you can basically get rid of the low-wage employees doing those first few calls. And
Yeah, and that's first entry level of basically hotline. It's the job that people don't do for a long time.
yeah,
They got in, they work from week to
it's oftentimes
couple of months, they got burned out and they go somewhere else.
it's oftentimes like you said, it's something to fill a gap between two jobs maybe, or something where you don't really need to know anything. You, depending on the hotline job, you have a script or you have a database, and you don't have to know the things you're actually doing there. If you want to sell stuff on a hotline, that's a different thing. But service hotline, you normally have a ticket system in front of you, and the moment you type in something, it normally should show you either what to reply or what the client can do. Like, did you unplug your thing? Did you do that? And well, that you don't have to know anything. You just have to know the language kinda to understand what they want on the phone and what you could do there. I could work on a technical hotline in the United States without any problems. and I would do a much better job than a lot of those who actually did the job, as far as I know. So, but it's the same in Germany.
You know, when you talked about that AI hotline, it just reminded me something. We have several things implemented here, but it was made not for hotline. It was made for cold calls, for sales.
Mhm.
Like more than half a year ago, I got a call on our work number who was like, hey, we present services for cold calls. Are you interested or not? I said, well, you called me. I didn't drop the phone yet. So what can you offer me?
Mhm.
And the answers was like, I didn't get a direct answer. It was like, yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't understand it. I will send you our price and whatnot, and so on, so on. Basically, I didn't get the direct answer.
Mhm.
That was the time when I was like, something wrong is here.
Mhm.
Half an hour later, call from the same number and was like, hey, you just talked with our AI. Are you interested in his service or not? Because you saw how him talking, he was in direct communications with you, and it basically can do whatever on the phone.
So what the fuck? So basically, the scammers use the software they want to sell you to scam others, basically, because for nothing else you need that.
It wasn't the scammer, it was official developed soft. And half a year later, I now noticed that some mobile phone operators and banks started to use the same AIs.
Well,
It
yeah,
sounded much better than when I was talking with that prototype that was presented to me. But I noticed that it is the same thing that they tried to sold to our company.
Yeah, but that's kind of crazy. I mean, yeah, you can do regular stuff with that as well. It's like with most technology, it can be used for good things, like let's say an atomic reaction can be used for good things, but you can also do shit with it. It's the same with AI. AI can help you, but maybe we should do a.
Yes.
Maybe we should do. Did we? We didn't do a streamcast about AI only, right?
Yes, we didn't because Midjourney was new. We were talking about a bunch of shit. ChatGPT
We could do that at one point.
recently got more popular, but yeah, we can do that.
I mean, there have been some really badass AIs from pretty much everybody. Microsoft uses an AI for Bing now.
They still trying to develop Bing.
Oh, Bing is they still do Bing a lot. I just I just installed the last Windows update, and I was like, what is that bullshit here? They install a freaking search bar on your desktop now. I barely saw it because I have so many icons on my desktop. It showed in the corner, and I was like, what? What the fuck is
Search
Bing doing there?
bar. Oh, you mean they installed Bing?
Yeah, a Bing search bar on the desktop. You can deactivate it, but it's one of their new services with Edge. It gets
Oh,
installed with an Edge update.
They still didn't give up on Edge when they gave up on Edge. Cool.
No, they never gave up on Edge.
They gave up on Edge.
Nah. Edge is a huge part on the Xbox as well.
On Xbox, yes. So on Windows, not so much.
Well, the fact that users might not use it much doesn't mean that they gave up from Microsoft's side.
They already gave up on Edge when they declared that they took Chromium as the base of Edge.
Yeah, well, but they work on Bing AI, so that's
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That thing they're trying to develop.
yeah. So Google does have their own AI. It's not in the search yet, but they have their own AI, obviously. And
I think we'll see that AI on the same in the same dump site that Stadia right now.
yeah,
They killed Chromecast already twice.
yeah. Well, I don't know if that's going the same direction. It's a bit different, I think. AI doesn't need hardware, you know. You don't need to buy hardware to use it or something.
It need the hardware from Google. Yes, it's they have big data center, but they already tried to use that data center for cloud gaming, and they failed miserably.
Yeah, but it's different. It doesn't have to do because of the cloud system being bad. But users were just not interested in the freaking stupid downsized console for that price tag and everything. It was just
Also, it wasn't available everywhere, and it when it died, it still wasn't available in all places that they promised.
yeah, that they only had maybe 3 or 4 really exclusive games. And if yeah, it was
It basically was, what the fuck are we doing in this business?
what was the other console that I actually supported on Kickstarter and never used?
Ouya.
With a Q.
Ouya.
Ouya, yeah, Ouya. Good idea! Awesome console! It's like this big! But yeah. The idea was good and
those
everything.
things more powerful than the Ouya.
Well, today, yeah, sure. Back then, it was as powerful as the most powerful phone. But, well, I do have it. Who wants to buy it? I even have the limited collector's edition. It's special coloring. They're only limited. So, and today it's super limited because it's not anywhere anymore. So yeah, I when they announced it, I was like, that's actually a pretty cool idea, and it makes sense. Cheap entry point, but the gamepad is not that good, and well, it was a nice idea, but
Nice idea, shit execution, and basically shit marketing.
might have worked a few years sooner or now.
Few years soon, no, I don't think it would work now because we literally have inbox PCs.
Yeah, true. That I mean, it wasn't anything else.
With Ryzen CPU.
But today we have Snapdragon 8 cores and whatnot. Back then, those powerful phone CPUs were not a thing.
Yeah, that's also true.
You also had no Game Pass. With Game Pass,
That's also true.
with Game Pass, the Ouya could be the entry point to high quality HD gaming. Oh, that's actually
Nvidia, that cloud gaming from Nvidia as well.
yeah, they had Shield.
That thing that they promoted, GeForce.
GeForce Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, GeForce Now, and they actually had a really good system. I think it's discontinued now, but the Shield system they had from Nvidia was really good. I mean, I don't have that, but as far as I know, that system was pretty good, which was nothing else than Ouya on a higher level. But Ouya is owned by Razer. They bought it. So I wonder if my Ouya would actually be capable of I would be needing the Xbox app. But that now with Game Pass, the Ouya might actually be working. It might be actually a really great system. I mean, you have an Xbox kinda built into a Samsung now. If you have Game Pass, you just play it on your fucking TV because you don't need anything. You just need internet. That's all you need to play a game today. That's all you need. Just internet. You don't even need a good phone to play Xbox S or Xbox X games in 60 FPS on your fucking phone. No, it just needs to be capable to show YouTube videos in 1080p and good internet. That's all you need. And Game Pass. So, well, and a gamepad, because without a gamepad you cannot use cloud gaming. But
Well, gamepad much cheaper than the whole console itself.
yeah, you can get a cheap Bluetooth controller. That's all you need.
And also, you can buy stuff like third-party accumulators for your gamepad and not spend much money on batteries.
That's true as well. Or in my case, very good. Okay, you cannot use it on a. Well, actually, could my phone? Nah, normally it doesn't give out power. You just charge it. But that would be cool if my USB-C port on my phone would actually be capable of powering my freaking gamepad. I could just use it like this on my freaking phone because I don't use wireless. It's a wireless controller, but my wireless on my PC is attached to my Stream PC because I use a wireless keyboard for my Stream PC. That's my keyboard without illumination, which is really bad because when it's too dark, I cannot see shit on a black freaking keyboard. The keyboard is good though, but yeah, it's not illuminated. That's bad. Anyway, let's watch this facial animation stuff, and then we are slowly getting to an end. We are already talking about a lot of stuff, and already 2.5 hours in. So let's just watch the last few minutes of this, so you can see what the facial animation, which is a really, really important thing in games, how that looks and how that will change gaming of the future. So let me just continue with this here, what they're doing. Everything that they do here, optimizing, all that, the stuff that they do is all done in real time right now. It's live. It's not
into animation.
Pre-made or anything.
So now, while that is processing, let me show you something else.
It now basically does all the calculations to find where the edges are and
This is
everything.
what we refer to as your metahuman DNA.
Cool. And this is generated by the capture we made earlier, right?
Yeah, that's right. So from only 3 frames of video and that data, we can generate a rig that predicts all of your facial expressions in just a couple of minutes.
Wow. And do you only need to do this once for each actor?
You can
That's right. It's
3D model stuff from 3 pictures now.
So that we can produce the performance in a way that faithfully reproduces your original performance.
You know how long it would take to model this in that quality in 3ds Max? And then it's not even rigged. Rigging means the way that you can open your mouth, for example. You have jaw points, how big it can open up, and all that kind of stuff. The rigging is basically combining the muscles and the outer side with the skeleton that you have inside. The skeleton is the rig, basically, and that's kind of giving you the maximum of the kinetics, for example. How far you can straighten up your arm, for example. If you're not careful, it can go over that point, so you have to fix the rigging again. So you basically have a motion of, like, say, 100 degrees or something like that. And that's what's done in rigging. And rigging 3D models is its own job. There are people they do nothing else than rigging models all day long. It would drive me nuts because rigging stuff is what makes 3D animation so freaking insane. Modeling the stuff is one thing, but rigging things that they work good and realistic, that's shit. I hated that when I learned a bit of 3ds Max. And being able to have that done by a freaking engine on its own. I mean, come on, it's crazy.
Performance.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's check back on the
I'm
on the
not
processor,
arguing, it's definitely
which today
crazy.
is on the latest CPU and GPU hardware from
Insane.
AMD. MetaHuman Animator uses a custom epic
But it
facial
also makes it
solver
much,
and
much
landmark
easier
detection.
for
We can interactively look at the
people
animation
who
while
don't
being
know as
solved
much,
and
or
compare it to your
people who
original
want to scam
performance.
others with asset
So it
flips and
looks like
stuff.
it's almost finished.
To do that even easier today.
After this, is going to do one more pass.
Oh yeah,
to make the
some
curves more
already.
stable.
It was said that some already using
And from here on,
Oh, they were already.
AIs
for the animation.
to
This takes
create
only 2 seconds.
full sentences
And
with
then
somebody
John needs to drop it in the
somebody
level.
else's voice samples.
You can have that in real time.
Yeah,
Yeah. And also, deepfake videos also works in real time already. They had they had a combo in America Got Talent, and there were two background singers, female, and 2 guys in the front singing. And on the big screen behind them, one was Elvis. They switched a few characters then. One was Elvis. The other one was Simon Cowell, the badass guy from the Judges. The other one of the background singers was Heidi Klum, and the other one was I don't remember her name. Vijara, I think. I don't know. The other one from the Judges. And they were singing live. It was crazy. And yeah, voice is getting better and better. Sometimes you can still hear it, but the channel that I watch weekly, who is doing new stuff, he also created a comic book based fully on AI art. He didn't sell it yet because copyright issues, so he needs to exchange a few of the pictures that were copyright material stolen by the AI, basically. He made a song and used Eminem's voice. He also made Obama say some stuff, and it, at first glance and first listening, yeah, it sounds pretty realistic. Like I said, the one AI generated stuff with all those politicians saying things was all AI generated. And the thing is, they also had a speech of Biden, which was completely fake. And news shows picked up on it. And that is the danger of the future. When they said fake news back in 2016 or so, faking stuff was possible, but not on that level. So what we saw back then were the real news. But now, in the future, I think this year already, but latest next year, it will be impossible to recognize deepfake video from reality. We are at that point where it is impossible to see if it's CGI or not. I mean, just look at what we see here. This is a game engine. It's just a game engine, which is already capable of almost photorealistic stuff in real time, while you can change stuff. If you render things at the highest quality and the best settings when it comes to illumination and everything, it is nearly impossible to say if it's fake or not. Earlier with the Jeep sequence, for example, with the water and stuff, hey, if you put up the effects a little bit more, you cannot say if it's real or not. We're at that point. we're at that point where it will be hard to see if a news is realistic or not. A few years ago, I saw a picture from burning oil fields. And then a while later, I saw the real picture of those burning oil fields. There were maybe like 5 which were burning. The picture they used in the news looked like 20. I've seen another picture from a Sidewinder rocket or something stuck in a truck on the side. I've seen that on 3 different news websites from 3 different countries, and everybody used a different caption to the picture. In one, it was a Russian rocket that hit something. In another one, it was an Iraqi missile that hit something. And the other news from Iran or Iraq was an American missile or something like that. I still, to this day, don't fucking know where it was. Who shot that rocket? Was it in a war zone? Or was it just a test where some soldier did something wrong and the javelin went in the wrong direction? I don't know it until today. But now, if you...
Again, I already said to you that some people will look at Arma 3 footage and said, yep, that's what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, it still looks like graphics. If you say that's realistic, you're either blind, have visual problems, or you're an idiot. But a few years, not too long ago, I think 2 years ago or so, the Formula 1 couldn't do real races anymore. But they wanted to do...
Oh, yeah, that virtual event.
I went to my parents... and Formula 1 was running on the TV. And I was like, huh? I thought they're not racing, but that's live. And I looked at it, and you saw the camera position with all the overlays that you know from a regular TV Formula 1 race. And it was a fixed camera position with a slight movement in it. So you saw, whew, 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 and I was like, okay, they're racing. And it really took a bit for me, and I know all that shit, to realize that I'm looking at a computer game. It looked that good. I mean, Formula 1 games, you have to admit, since they released those Formula 1 games from Codemasters, I think.
Oh yeah, that one that claims to be a professional one.
Yeah, every single...
That one they literally name F1.
Yeah, exactly, F1, yeah. Literally every single one looked the most realistic possible at that moment, with everything.
Yeah.
The rain that went, or the water that went up behind the cars and everything, the reflections. I mean, they had...
a bunch of sliders to setting the car.
Yeah, that too. I mean, besides of all that, just from the graphics. But
Yeah.
at this point...
Mechanically, it's also impressive. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. They could use a fucking game on TV. And trust me, a lot of people will not have known that was a game. It looked that good. It really looked that good. If you didn't have an HD TV and you looked at that, at the whole sequence on a regular TV, absolutely impossible to say that that's not real. And that was 2 or 3 years ago. But now we're definitely at a point where you can do anything real time. You could record a speech and make it sound like Putin while you look like Putin. That's possible today, and nobody would know.
Yeah.
Until Putin would say, hey, what the fuck? That wasn't me. So, yeah, that's the danger of AI that I don't like. AI that is capable of stuff like that should be limited to movie companies, for example, because it's okay if you have a movie like Gladiator, for example. There's an actor who drank himself to death while they shot the movie, but they needed him for a lot of scenes. I don't remember his name, but he has white hair and is a bit buffy and stuff. a very very well known actor, and you can see him in the whole freaking movie, or in Fast and Furious, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 or something like that. Walker already died, or Walker died while they produced the movie or something. And they used his brother as a stand-in and as a character to make all the scenes at the end. But they used CGI to make him look like, well, Paul Walker. So, for those...
we can remember the short end of the stick with Star Wars when they used
Mark Hamill.
CGI of the actors who played Princess Leia.
Was she in the last movie?
Yes. People were pissed because that looked not on the level, let's say.
I have to check that again. I'm not aware that they used her as CGI, because they had
They partially had unshot, not finished scenes, and partially CGI.
Well, I have to admit, I don't remember anything from that movie at all, really.
I don't even know anything about new trilogy.
I'm not sure if I'm actually watching the new ones at any point anymore. The old trilogy I saw countless times. The older ones, yeah, I saw them twice or so. The new ones,
I'm kind of laughing because new trilogy made prequel trilogy look like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. All things considered, the original is still the best. And it also looks the best because they still had... Well, they needed to make everything real, in reality. So what you saw when they're in front of a freaking, I don't know, X-Wing or something, they built that prop. Now you have that all CGI, they're just standing in a limited area, everything around them is green screen, and I mean, I do like CGI and everything, but...
CGI is good when it's done well. When it's done well,
yeah. I mean, you could see in Mandalorian... I think it was the first season, they had Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker in it. But then they had it in an updated version. And that looked freaking good. So it can work well. Terminator, I don't know, the one that doesn't count to canon anymore. But they had...
basically all Terminators that came out after 2, we can say it's not canon.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well, the last one is again, but between 3 and 2, they don't count. Anyway, in the one that was actually pretty good with Christian Bale, they had...
Yeah, 4 with Christian Bale.
Yeah, I think that was 4. And it was actually planned that Bale is doing another 2, but then that was cancelled. But you have Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that fight. When I saw that thing, I was like, well... Let's get it into consideration that I watched it the year when it came. When I saw young Arnold, I was like...
Yeah, what?
Well, I was really impressed. I knew that something happening here, and years later I got the info that it was real body, real person, but CGI'd face.
Exactly. Back in the day, in the freaking 80s, the original Terminator came out 89, I think, or 88, something like that. They did a full 3D body scan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, completely. So they could use his body in 200D still as a scan. But his body double does have the same physique that he used to have when he was Mr. Universe. So yeah, it was a real body of a real person, but with the original young Arnold face. I mean, fuck, and it looked freaking good. It looked really, really good.
Yeah,
So,
for its time and how it shot, it looked good.
yeah,
It wasn't looked like CGI is fighting against reality.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And a big thing, and that's also the same in games. The lighting is so extremely important that needs to fit.
Yeah.
And that's the problem when you bring in CGI with real life stuff. That's the moment where you sometimes see something is a little off here. If that's done right, then it's at this point almost impossible to see if it's CGI or so. I
think if it's looking like Red Dead Redemption, and the other thing is if it looks like Who Framed the Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. It's insane. When you sometimes see reels from companies who do visual effects. When I was doing all the school stuff with 3ds Max and everything, we watched a few of those. There are so many TV shows where you don't even think about that there's any CGI in it, and it's full of it. Like CSI New York, for example. It's a cop show. It's in New York. You think, yeah, it's all filmed on location and stuff. Bullshit.
At least on the set.
No, bullshit. I saw a scene. I think it's in the court or something. And I've seen that episode actually. And then I saw the reel and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. They were in a studio. It was all green screen. The only thing real in there besides the actors were the freaking, how do you call that? The pillars. The pillars that you have in there. You know, those antique-like pillars. Those were realistic and the real height. The rest you see in the show is all 100% fake. It might be filmed on location, but not one actor was on location. They filmed the outside, the street and everything, and then they composed it into that picture. And I was like, what?
Pillars, I think pillars might be used to get a perspective right of the room.
Yeah, well, they had them in the shot as well, so they didn't need them from the shot because they had them in there. So the shadows of the people walking in front of them, they didn't have to fake them in CGI. They just
that for sure.
They had all that already. And now you don't even need to have green screen anymore. You have video screens. The new version of Dune is I don't enjoy it too much, but I'm also an old school guy.
And that's part 1.
Yeah, that's part 1. Yeah. But they didn't use green screen for that. They used those video screens. So in a lot of sequences where you have sand going on in the background, the worms and everything, that's all on a screen behind them while they act. It's insane. Those are huge freaking monitors, basically. It's insane. Sony. When it comes to movie equipment and stuff like that, Sony is fucking top-notch. Industrial Light and Magic, obviously, as well, because they are mostly responsible for the best cameras and stuff like that when it comes to digital videos. But those screens, and when you see it then, it's insane. They have like two screens, two screens in an angle, and you think it's just the surrounding, you know. It's fucking insane. I saw a reel of that and I was like, what? That's the reason why I watched that movie, not because I wanted to see, Dune. I didn't read the book, so I don't know if it's... I think it's closer to the books from what I know, but I didn't...
It also have more runtime than the first movie.
Yeah, but it's... I don't know, it was a really boring movie. It was boring as fuck. I didn't... The one thing that I liked were those I don't know, ornithopters, kinda those
Yeah, or
I don't know what the
something
name
like that.
what their name is. Ornithopters are the ones that we have in reality, which is basically a helicopter that can switch the rotor to become a plane. And they basically have like fireflies with the wings and everything, which was really, really hardcore stuff to do actually in CGI. I saw some making of. I enjoy making of stuff from things like that. I have work in progress videos of a few movies. I have a work in progress leaked video from the Hulk movie before they have the new Hulk. So the newest CGI Hulk they did, but years ago. It is not canon or anything, but I had a work in progress video from that where you can see his hair is not hair. It looks like French fries, like really polygon stripes going off his head. Not one single strand of hair. No lighting on his body. His pant clipping into his butt and cheeks while he was fighting the dogs and stuff. It's hilarious. I love stuff like that because I'm interested in that. So seeing things like that, how they compose things to look as good as they do at the end is mind-blowing. I mean, back in the day, they had real models of X-Wings and stop motion and everything, and it looks like they're flying to freaking space. I mean, look at 2001 Odyssey in Space, or Space Odyssey. It still, to this day, looks really good. They're all models. I think the biggest model is like 2 meters long or so. It's insane. Okay, let's finish this here, and then we're basically done. We're already done, but
And add the audio so that we can see.
Let's just finish it.
So,
actually, something that you can see on the
side
side here. Here you can see all the muscles and points that basically make the face move the way it can in the end. I mean, you're still limited and you cannot do it 100% one-to-one realistic, obviously, but it's as close.
Already big leap forward to things that we have.
Huge step. I mean, those 3D animators, when they animate a face, they sit in front of a mirror and do all those faces, and then they translate it into 3ds Max. Now you just film yourself, put it on the fucking, I don't know, Ratatouille Red or Roger Rabbit, it doesn't matter. You will see it. You can just interchange whatever you want and they have the same animation. And that's so crazy.
And add the audio so that we can see the results.
But that also makes it
should now
impossible in the future to see, is the person in that interview a real person? I mean, just look at the fucking quality of this. This is a 3D model. This is not a picture, this is not a video, this is a fucking 3D model. Everything in here is freaking fake.
I need performance capture to work like a mirror. I need it to capture whether I'm acting scared.
It
Or
has
angry.
the feeling of Death Stranding
And sometimes,
facial animation.
all I need is a look.
Yeah, Death Stranding is insanely high level. I just realized it a few weeks ago when I played the director's cut. Death Stranding is, when it comes to models, next to Cyberpunk, the
I think
best
it's incredible
that we have at the
usually
moment.
takes months between
Yeah,
performance capture and
Cyberpunk
getting
still
any
have
results
this
back, so this is blowing
looks
my
that
mind.
it's definitely a fiction, while Death Stranding got into more realistic
in the
tones and lighting.
well, in the cutscenes in Cyberpunk, the cutscenes.
Yeah, I'm not talking about how facial animation is working and whatnot. I'm talking not just about that. I'm talking about also the tones of the skin and
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Death
and
Stranding
that stuff.
and Cyberpunk, I think they're basically on the same level, but they're when it comes to the way how characters can or should look in a high quality game, that's both of those games are definitely the go-to standard. If you go below that, that's
Yeah,
definitely
that's that.
that's definitely the highest we have at the moment, but also the minimum that you would expect from a AAA game coming in the future.
Yeah.
Because in Cyberpunk,
Well, at least not minimal, at least on the same level.
yeah.
Those games already break the barrier and put it like you should do it like this.
At
least.
At this moment, and in both of those games, you can 100% recognize the original actor who played those characters.
Yeah.
That also works in a few other games where the level of commitment to that is really, really high, like in Beyond Two Souls, for example. Also,
Oh, well, Beyond Two Souls and stuff like that. I think if David Cage could, we would play FMV games at this point.
yeah, it's You think you're playing a freaking video, but it's CGI, and in the future, it will look like an FMV game, but with actually all real time. So. It's basically, so we just get what we already had back in the day with the limited capabilities of reality and real actors that we had back then. In the future, you just put any actor that is 3D scanned, and I guess as a company you will be able to buy a 1x1 realistic scan of somebody's face for like $1,000 or so. Hey, I want Brad Pitt in my game. Yeah, okay. Yeah, cost 5,000. So
yeah, and we also have young Brad Pitt and old Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and you with that asset you can actually morph it. You just give the age and that's the future. And that's also why it should be highly limited and restricted who is able to get those technologies. Well, with Unreal Engine 5 out in the open for free, you can kinda make what you want. But it should, for news or for anything that is released out in the open, there should be some kind of a watermark or some way to tell.
Let's say that for the news outlets should actually check their newses.
It should actually be done.
It's a minimum.
It should be done by the AI and the engine directly, so that, for example, if I watch something that was made in Unreal, if I put on, I don't know, some special glasses, like those UV light stuff that you have for money, for example, for bills.
I get it. Some type of watermark that you can't see with the naked eye, or something that you don't know there if you don't know where to look.
Exactly. Something that
some technical imperfection that's going to be recreated 100% of the time.
Yeah, or
that you can say that it's made with that specific engine.
Yeah, or let's say the AI that creates something or whatever places a watermark or so in the eye or so. So if you scan up really, really close, you could see the Epic logo or something like that you wouldn't see from that distance like now. But let's say you zoom or on a tooth or something, and you zoom that far in that you can see that like a QR code or something somewhere in the picture. We need something like that. Otherwise, it will be impossible to know what reality is. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, this is reality, but what you see on a screen will not be possible to be seen as real or fake. We are at this point at the moment, it is not possible anymore. If it's done right, it is impossible. For the untrained eye, 100% impossible. And even for people like me who worked or work in that area or in that yeah, in that area, basically in that business. If we can't tell anymore, it's over. You can show the world whatever you want. If I cannot tell anymore, and if a visual effects artist who works 24/7 in that area cannot tell anymore, it's over. Then it's over. You can do any propaganda that you want. Literally anything. You can show war zones that have flowers, everything, people dancing in the streets. They're all happy that the oppressor won the fight and makes it everything beautiful now and all that bullshit. We already have enough propaganda that is faked but is realistic. Like Kim Jong-un and his army, I just saw a video about that. Holy shit. When they have their promotions where they, I don't know, where they break wood and those...
Yeah, I saw that video.
That martial arts stuff. It's all fake what you see there. You think, oh, wow, I become a super soldier if I go to the North Korean army. Then you go there and it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
At least they know the basics of propaganda to show that they are really badasses, and one soldier with his bare fist can kill like 20 other soldiers.
Hey, trust me, if we would have gotten this technology from today, 80 years ago, the world would be German. Seriously. And that's not a positive thing. If he had the best propaganda and marketing of all time.
He had?
Yeah. There is not one country or war that had better marketing than back then. And will never have. I have no doubt in that. He was, well, that was mastermind. Everything. The colors, the logos, everything. It was freaking insane. And if he had the technology of today, wow, we would be fucked. You wouldn't know shit anymore. They already didn't know shit back then, but it was the first.
When it comes to Soviet Union, we still, well, at least West still don't know shit about our actions and what actually happened at our front.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like American came to Normandy, World War II is over.
Yeah, yeah, no.
What Soviet Union had done on the Eastern Front? Who cares?
Yeah, and I'm happy actually that we have the internet today, because if I really want to know something from a certain area on the planet and I don't want to rely to the news, I can talk to people living in that country. Like you, for example, living in Russia. I have somebody who lives in Pakistan. I have somebody who lives in Israel. I have somebody in Japan. If I want to get realistic news from people who live there and live through the shit happening, I can ask them. I mean, I still have to trust them, and well, you also can just tell me what you know.
On political leaning of the person, like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that too. But it's also a thing. You can just tell me what you know. Stuff that is shown to you by your government or something is also something, I mean, you couldn't test, but you can say, yeah, the war is here, for example, because I saw a rocket go down there or some bullshit like that. Like I said, I have a friend in Pakistan. He also invited me, but he said, hey, our government is shit at the moment. Don't come yet. It was back then with Gaddafi and whatnot. And he showed me pictures from a street, new cars, 2 lanes in every direction. And then he showed me a picture, panned to the side, where you see a store where they had bullets like this in the fucking concrete wall. Bullets like this. Not bullets like from an AK. Bullet holes. Like real bullet holes, you know, from a tank, machine gun or whatever, you know, like a big gun that you're not holding with your hand anymore. And that was the other side. That's stuff you don't see on news really. On news you would have seen, life is happening again. Cars are driving, all new cars, Japanese, German, doesn't matter. Yeah, but the war zone is over here in the other direction. So that's the cool thing. I can actually send somebody a picture and say, hey, I saw that in the news. Or like you, for example, you see stuff from Germany that the Russian government makes look a bit different sometimes. So you can ask me stuff that happens here in Germany. You I don't know what it was, but you sent me something that I was like, huh? I never saw anything about that. It's not in our news. I don't know what they're talking over there, but that's not a thing here.
It wasn't even our government news. It was basically news that was spread by Ukrainian bloggers, specifically one Ukrainians that migrated to Russia. Yes.
Okay.
Stuff that also Western news not mentioning, that almost half of Ukrainians that ran away from Ukraine ran away into Russia.
Yeah.
And that only in 2022.
That's stuff. So we have our ways with the internet and all the globalization now that we can actually get real news from real people. We don't have to rely on news, thankfully.
Yes, and all of the governments, not only our government, but also US government, German government, English government, want to end all this stuff. They want to end all communications between people.
Yeah,
and that's saying the person who have fiance from South Africa.
The thing is, yes, today let me rephrase that. When I grew up, there was no internet. It wasn't there yet. So I didn't know shit about the world. I knew what I learned in history class in school and what I saw on TV, but you also had just news on TV that were huge impacts, like, there was an earthquake in, I don't know, Turkey or somewhere. Something happened, or tornado destroyed half of Florida or something like that. But we didn't know about politics, what's going on over there, or all the nut jobs with the flat earth and all that bullshit. Your news was limited to kinda your country mostly and a little bit from the rest. Now it's all from the rest, all of the time. And stuff from your country that would be interesting is kinda like, yeah, let's say something about it. Let's say one sentence about the problems of our country, but not too much.
Like Yellow Vests.
Yeah, like a few years ago, I read something about the economic system in Germany on a freaking US website, news website. And I knew more about it after I read that article than I knew from German news. I double checked if that was actually true, and they were right, but they didn't promote it that much here. So, but we also here we know that the US politics and the healthcare and all that kind of, it's bullshit. We also know that. We know that more than
education, healthcare, and basically a lot of
everything.
And looking at the US education right now, I'm basically asking, is there education at all?
Nah. At this point, nah. I don't think so. I mean, come on. Is this flat earth and bullshit like that?
2 moons!
Yeah.
2 moons!
I mean, you can simulate it on your own. Just get a space simulator like Universe Sandbox and put a second moon in Earth orbit. Yeah, do that. Enjoy. Yeah, we would not live here anymore. Anyway, I'm gonna play that just in the background without them talking too much over it. But yeah, this is the future, and the future is part awesome and beautiful, and I love it, and part, oh, what the fuck, no. I mean,
basically like that saying go, how did saying, oh yeah, when I was younger, I thought that future will be like Star Trek. When I'm getting older, I'm seeing that future will be like Warhammer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I wanted nothing more than, hey, computer, blah, 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 blah. Ah, yeah, you can blah, 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 blah. That's what I wanted. Alexa is kinda already close to that, but, well, if an AI can talk to you like that, an AI knows a lot and needs to know even more. And an AI that is capable to talk to you like in Next Generation, for example, in Star Trek, kinda already has a little consciousness. In Discovery, it gets a conscious. A real conscious.
We'll show them how to
Okay.
satisfy
Yeah, we kind of have those people who talk with Siri, for example.
Yeah.
And we have kind of same-ish things here. Alisa.
Okay. We did had a company here, quantum computers or something like that. They supposedly had a system that you could use like that. Hey computer, I want to record the TV show at 8 o'clock. And you got a response like, okay, I can do that. And then he was like, recorded 15 minutes earlier. And you got another response like, yes, or yes, I will do that. But a realistic response. And then he was talking to the camera and the computer reacted. Did you ask me something? No, it was not for you. In kinda like a slang. And the reply was, okay. So
it's basically like Google smartphones. When you're talking about something and he's like, I'm awake.
But
That's what I found in the internet.
But I think it was faked. Because the company is no more, and if it would have been that sophisticated, I developed my own PC back in the day, an HD PC that you could use to do anything on your TV basically, but more powerful and everything. And I was in touch with that company, and if I would have released it and that system would have been on it, but yeah, it didn't end up in collaboration or anything, so I'm still not sure if it's fake or not. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe it was in the concept real, but in...
the technology was not sophisticated enough to... I mean,
Yeah.
today it would be, but back then, nah.
Yeah, something like that.
It was dual core times. So... that in real time...
When exactly it happened?
way over 12 years ago.
Yeah, mostly one core time.
Oh no, I had dual core. Yeah, okay, I always had PCs that are top notch back in the day.
Yeah.
Now I cannot afford it anymore, but I already had a dual core Phenom back then.
We're gonna drop the sketch and go all in on Fab.
The HD PC was meant to be insanely capable of doing anything, and it was. I still use a lot of the systems that I kind of put together from back then today, like wait, I have to deactivate this. Like this top bar, I used that for a long time.
Animations, visual effects, and more. Fab will be the new home of Quixel Megascans,
Nice.
Metahumans, and other incredible epic content.
That's based on Apple. Apple has it in the bottom and created by Mac users for Windows. They use Apple products, but they were like, hey, okay, here, have it. That tool, I used that tool since Windows 7 or so. It never was updated. It still runs without any issues. Absolutely fine. I put that on every PC that I built, on every single one. I can restart and shut off my PC with one click
super simple for you
and
to
all that
find
kind
what
of
you're
stuff.
looking for and get it started
Nice.
along the way. We'll leverage automated tagging to consistently and
But yeah,
accurately
this
describe content, and
for
we'll give you the
animations and
ability to create
everything
3D models before you download.
looks a bit
Easy
like
to
something from
understand
Avatar that I
and
watched.
assets, so there are no surprises. Building on the success of Quixel Bridge, the Fab plugin will enable you to search,
Oh
discover,
yeah, it was
drag
what
and drop
13.
content right into your scene without leaving the game editor.
Yeah, we're definitely getting somewhere.
Using the engine is so super easy. It's crazy.
Let's
was-
hope that Unreal Engine 5 solve problem with floating
Directly to Fab.
prompts at least.
Finally, leveraging Sketchfab's digital asset management capabilities.
Well,
Fab will be the
if
place
you
for
place a
to store,
prop
and share assets
and it doesn't
with
have
teammates for
any
collaboration
game
and help you
capabilities,
showcase your work.
you might still have that.
Collaboration tools like this, we want to help
If
you
every asset has physics and basically lands on whatever it is placed above, that might be different, but props don't always have those capabilities. Props are basically just there to see something, but they don't have any capabilities. So clipping issues and stuff can and will still happen, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not talking about clipping, I'm not talking about floating buildings, concrete and whatever. At least something like you put a jar and it like 2 or 3 fingers up the table.
And now please welcome Sax Pearson.
And basically engine like
Yeah, and that's like I said, if it's just a prop you place in the world, it's just something you place somewhere. It's like
yeah.
if I had the capabilities in real life, I could say, hey, stop that cloth right in the air, right here. Put my hand away, it would just stay here until it gets physics. So that's the same in the engine as well, I think. But they do a lot of stuff that you couldn't do in other engines earlier, so but it was already relatively easy with the new engines to create games. Game Maker also got an update. Ooh, that looks pretty decent as well. That's definitely
Game Maker decided to up their game.
yeah, oh yeah. It looks basically like Unity in the version that they used in the games at the moment. Not the next Unity, but the actual Unity. So, oh, pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and you can get Unreal Editor just for Fortnite props and levels. Actually, something I might check out because it looks relatively easy to handle and stuff. But it's just for Fortnite, so eh.
Tons of Fortnite content. With
But you can basically get everything Fortnite is based on and make your own game and your own levels. So.
Well, at least for some sort of free project or test project.
As long as you don't make more than, I think, 150,000, you can also sell it.
Yeah, okay.
But it's limited to what you make.
And also it would be like people will see that it's Fortnite prompts.
All assets are curated
Oh yeah, sure.
for use in Fortnite, and the full version of Fab will launch.
It's more meant to I'm not sure if you can.
So you can change the look
I guess in the Fortnite editor you have to you cannot release it as an executable, but you can just build like a DLC file or something. So you need Fortnite to actually make use of it. So it's more meant like a game mode, like game modes or something for Fortnite directly. Otherwise you would just get Unreal Engine, the regular one, and you can get all the props for Fortnite for that engine as well. And yeah, but it's mostly meant for Fortnite, so I think that whatever you do in the Fortnite editor is also limited to just Fortnite as the base game. So, but you can use all the props and stuff. So.
It's really refreshing to have a theme.
Yeah, so the future needs 4K 4K VR glasses. And when we then have those graphics in VR, yeah, then we're talking. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what I'm waiting for. Realistic looking stuff. Playing a game like Unrecord, but in VR. Having all the realistic shit going on. Yeah, and then a lot of people will never leave their home for anything. Seriously, if you can have this art, the graphics, the high quality graphics from the jungle area where we were driving around with the Jeep at the beginning, there's no reason to go outside. What reason is to go outside? Seriously. It's not good looking anymore outside as it is in fucking games, you know? So, leaving reality gets more realistic, seriously, in the future than it is already. So you don't have to use too much imagination about a few things, where you just look at it. So, and a lot of things, well, it will also be a nice and good future for everybody who is just not capable of leaving their hospital bed, for example, because they're either well, they might be what's the name, paralyzed or something like that. So for people like that,
oh yeah, and we basically kind of touched that when we were talking about VR and AR.
Yeah, exactly. Where you have people who don't have legs anymore and can still give them the enjoyment of jogging on the beach or something, and it looks realistic. Things like that. So for those cases, I really, really, really like that, and I hope that it gets to that point where you just have a Quest, the Quest 5, you put it on and you're in another reality. In a
Let's
real
hope that Zuckerberg will not kill his company before that.
Oh no, oh, there's so much. He has a shit ton of money, and he is not buying companies that are way overpriced and burning his money in rockets. So Facebook might not be as popular as it used to be back in the day, but if we have one company...
They have Instagram.
Yeah, well, they have WhatsApp, they have all that kind of shit. But they didn't pay 40 billion for a company that is dying. They paid much less for companies that were striving. And they keep striving because WhatsApp is used, Instagram is insanely used. And Instagram at the moment is becoming what Twitter never became. So a lot of people use Instagram as their social account now. I mean, they did before, but now they don't need to post their Instagram pictures on Twitter anymore. They just use Instagram. And Twitter, the more they do, the least the people and companies use it. As a company, if you want to use it realistically without $40,000, you cannot use it. It's impossible. And everybody, I already kind of virtually slapped a few people for paying $8 for the blue check mark. There are definitely people who will block anybody with a blue check mark. There was it was trending, block blue or block the blue mark or some bullshit like that.
Don't forget that people who got their blue check marks got access to special section that used to be accessible only by blue check marks. And the original blue check marks were really offended that some plebs got into their safe space.
Well, the thing with the blue check marks in the future is if you don't have one, you don't see the real news anymore or the checked news or whatever. You can see any bullshit. With the blue check mark, you see them kind of curated. But to be honest, if you support that moron with $8 per month, go fuck yourself. Seriously.
Even Trump didn't pay for that.
The blue check marks, the verified blue check marks are gone. They're gone. There is a different checkmark that is still verified if you pay those few $1,000 per year, every year. So yeah, a lot of companies are just gone from Twitter, and we need an alternative.
Companies were dropping Twitter anyway, so it's not like it was completely his fault.
They were dropping it because a lot of those paid blue check marks created realistic accounts, and
before I said before,
it
was before Musk.
No. I mean now. There was no paid checkmark before Musk. Before Musk, it was
there was paid blue checkmark because Musk already basically opened part of the documents when he companies. Not only companies. Also creators paid for their checkmarks.
The verified checkmark was not paid. You couldn't pay for it. You had to be verified.
You could pay for it if Twitter contacted you, or if you knew somebody who could get you in contact with Twitter stuff.
That's news to me. Back in the day, the best you could do was a petition. A petition to make people ask for a checkmark for a company or for a person or something. But back in the day, there were real people sitting there and checking, is that account from the person they actually claim to be? That's not happening anymore. That's just over. You pay, you get it. They don't care.
Yeah, it was like when it started, but not when Musk picked the company. It was basically secretly paid blue check marks before. And it wasn't like $8 per month, it was like $1,000 per blue check mark.
Yeah, that's now. That's now. The verified.
It was before Musk.
Yeah, but not long ago. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that 10 years ago.
So that's what I'm talking about. Not the new style Twitter from the last few years. Because before he joined, Twitter was already a shit show. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Twitter was dying even before Musk.
Yeah, Twitter died the moment it let Trump and all those other morons post all their bullshit before they actually got rid of them. Well, now it doesn't matter because they're all back. Because free speech, hate speech is free speech today. Fuck you. Oh wait, we're talking about hate speech. Fuck you, Elon.
Oh. Well, it basically like Elon said. It's hate speech depending on who listening. So we can basically look at some of those people who are crazy in some regards about skin, color of their skin, or their beliefs. And if you listening to them, it's definitely hate speech. But because they not the
right, the moment you say something against a group, it is hate speech, no matter if you're in that group or not. If I say all console players are morons, well, it's kind of hate speech against console players. It doesn't matter if you.
But that wasn't filter at all. And that was the complaint against filter, that it was hate speech, but really one-sided.
Well, now it just kind of continues.
Yeah, now it's like everything everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's got better. It just got even.
You know what's also really funny? That Elon tries so hard to make sure people know that his dad didn't have an emerald mine, when his dad in interviews said he had a fucking emerald mine.
And emerald mine, it's not the only thing that he has.
Yeah, I know. I mean, his dad is a billionaire as well, and
Elon, and his dad, a reason why Elon got all this opportunity to get a billionaire.
I mean, do you think Trump would be what he is today if he would have been responsible for that on his own? Nobody would
Of course
know
not.
who that guy is.
He got small $1 billion loan. He got best education that he could. He got all connections that he could because of his parents.
Before
And
he
so,
was
yada yada yada.
before he was born, he was a multi-millionaire because his shady dad needed to get money away from the taxes
And
because
not only his dad.
yeah, well, his grandfather left Germany. So much for that. Trump shouldn't even be allowed to be president because he's only the
He
third
was
generation.
born in USA, so
Yeah, okay, yeah, he was born in the USA. Okay, but still, I mean,
well, just look at him. He's not even close to be German. He's
Yeah, thankfully.
American from top to the bottom.
We don't accept somebody like that being a German.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
He's
But-
definitely a product of American culture. He's a representative of American culture, specifically business culture, and he's spreading American culture. So yeah, no questions. He's American.
There are not that many self-made billionaires. One of them is Richard.
Zero.
No, Richard Branson.
Okay, and I don't know about Richard Branson, but if
Virgin-
we look
Virgin-
about Bezos and Bezos, Disney, and everybody else, they all had some kind of connections and easier access to money.
I'm not 100% sure about Walt Disney back in the
He-
day.
Yes, he is. One of his brothers was a banker.
Yeah, okay.
He got a big loan from his brothers. And
But
the shack that
it's-
he rented was on his uncle property.
Yeah, well, okay. It's one thing to get access to money that you loan from a bank, or if you get it blown up your ass for free from your relatives. That's a whole different story. Richard Branson, for example, started with a record company, a music studio, and stuff like that. And he built up his company to what it is today, kinda being a little rock fan, playing guitar and stuff, and wanted to make more. He's Virgin Records now, flying to space and bullshit. A few others, as far as I know, the creator of Alibaba Express is also self-made, I think.
Bullshit.
No? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I just know he's a billionaire and
His image, like Musk image and Bezos and whatnot, made to be like his self-made billionaire. It made by business trainers and by those people themselves. Like, yeah, look at me, I'm really.
Yeah, but did he grow up super rich? That's what I mean.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but,
that's the thing.
He definitely had a lot more opportunities to become rich.
Because a few others, as far as I know, Bill Gates also didn't grow up super rich.
Family from the family of the bankers, and I think his
Yeah, but that doesn't-
mother or
that-
father worked with the government, so he had access to all those contracts.
Yeah, but that wasn't the thing when he was stealing, copying and getting inspiration for DOS and BASIC back then.
Yeah, from IBA.
So I think he also
But
built it
that
mostly
worked
himself.
out when he got all those ideas from IBA, basically.
But what I mean, there are few who started basically from scratch. They didn't have 100 million already in their ass
Yeah.
to just take from it and do something.
Yeah.
Like Hewlett and Packard. Those two guys started in their fucking garage, for example.
Hewlett-Packard, I think, also was bullshit. I don't remember for sure. I need to refresh that memory.
Apple, the first Apple was made in a garage.
First Apple, yes.
So Wozniak and
Wozniak built it himself, yes.
Yeah.
But
a hacker, a well-known hacker, is the creator of one of the most known computer products today, Apple.
yes, but the problem is Apple got widespread because of Jobs, and Jobs
Maybe
got a lot of connections because he worked in Atari, and well, basically Wozniak did all of the heavy lifting, while Jobs kicked a lot of nothing and got a few connections.
Yeah, but they also they all kind of started on their own. I mean, they might have gotten access to money through some ways. That's one thing.
Yes, but again, if Wozniak was doing that on his own without Jobs, we wouldn't see Apple like it is today.
Yeah, sure. Connections always help in all cases. But give me 100 million, you think I wouldn't be a billionaire in 10 years or something like that? With 100 billion? With 100 million? With 100 million?
Sort of business that works.
I mean, give me 1 million and I would never have to work a regular job in my life. Ever. With 1 million, I would be done for. I wouldn't have to worry about my life anymore. Not one single bit. 1 million would be enough. I'm not greedy. Give me 1 million. I'm done. I'm done for life. And I would create more. But without money, that's the problem. Without money, and today, without money, if you don't have connections and a good idea, you're fucked. Just a good idea doesn't help. Just connections doesn't help.
No, just connections can help. Look at Musk. Oh no, he's got money.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Wrong example.
I saw a video of the stuff that Elon failed in while he was doing business. He failed in so many things you have no fucking idea. I didn't even know that he was in half of those companies that he failed or got kicked or got fired or booted out of it. And oh my god, I was like, what? Oh wow.
Yeah, and we're already completely off topic.
Yeah, I mean we're at the end anyway.
Yeah.
So I will try to create something in Unreal to show on stream one day. I'm gonna try to recreate something a bit like Unrecord, just to walk around a scene like that. I have assets that I can use for that. I also want to make a freaking forest and shoot a zombie or twice, a zombie or two, because I really have high quality zombie assets, really, really good quality. So,
yeah.
All right.
Just don't make an asset flip.
Nah, you know me. I mean, nah. I mean, it will be assets from the marketplace, and they will be. Switch over. Come on. Thank you. Wow, that takes like. Why does that take like forever to switch? Holy shit. I will never understand it. Oh, what happened to my.
That's me.
No, my stream just dropped like crazy. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Wow, it went all red. Okay, my stream is dying at the moment for some unknown reason.
Well, we're done anyway.
Yeah. Alright, Lothar, as always, thanks for hanging out. It's really late for you. Sorry for that. We went way longer than expected.
Fine. Yeah, I didn't know that we could talk for that long with that topic. I was really struggling with the idea that we would be like done before an hour mark.
Yeah, well, at first I also thought, what are we gonna talk about? Then I remembered, oh, we could just watch that trailer that goes an hour. We watched 10 minutes of it. So I had a rough idea, but we went off topic a few times. But yeah, Unreal, if you want to
we
go...
still were talking about engines and graphics capability.
Something that I didn't check out yet. I should maybe do that when you left, because it's really late for you. For those who don't know, it's past midnight for Lothar already.
Not past midnight. Don't forget time changed.
Oh, yeah. So it's 11:37.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I wanted to watch actually upcoming Unreal 5 games for this year or the next year. But I guess I'm gonna watch that in my own stream later or tomorrow. So, yeah, let's... And it dropped again. What the fuck? Okay, it switches in between. All right, Lothar, as always, famous last words.
Fuck Epic. Yes, even after we talked about Unreal Engine that long.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the engine is great. The rest is shit. I'm totally 100% standing behind you when it comes to that. Talking about Epic being an asshole bullshit platform, Dead Island 2 that we waited for 9 years is Epic exclusive. It is almost bug-free and runs really well, but it's a fucking Epic exclusive. So Dead Island 2, enjoy the 1 million sales, because most of them were all consoles. And when you come to Steam, the majority will show you the finger, me included.
Or not remember about you at all, like with Metro or other games.
Like, oh yeah, right, that